Let's go.
Okay,
Woo!
we here.
We clear.
Oh, hey, Pyth, we were just talking about you.
How you doing? Oh, hang on. I need to pull up the stream chat. I forgot about that.
It's been a long time since I've done a chill stream, really. Like,
Oh yeah. Since you've done a show, honestly, it's been a while since I've done a show stream.
it's been a while, yeah. And then tomorrow, just so you guys know, tomorrow is my Patreon stream too. So you're gonna get like stream upon stream upon stream. Because I always forget that February is a short month, and so I'm like, oh, I got time, and then I'm like, oh no, there's not 30 days in this month. Fuck.
I love the moth in the corner.
He just, you know, okay, so the story with the moth, I have to explain this. It's a Twitch thing. So, my friend Kaylee sent me some 80s retro wave music, which is really, really fun to draw to. It's horror retro wave music. And I was looking for specifically, remember like over a year ago, that sketch of Naya as a kid I sent you?
What? I'm sorry. I zoned out for a second.
Oh, it's okay. But remember when, like, when Crackman, like, first fucking started, and I sent you a sketch of Naya? Because it was, like...
Oh, yeah.
I was looking for that sketch, because I redesigned her tail in that sketch, but I never fucking posted it anywhere. And then I'm like, I know I posted it on Twitter. So I was going through my Twitter on stream with the music in the background, and I used that as, like, a reaction gif or something. And I was staring at it because with the music in the background, he was in perfect sync with the retro rave music. And I'm like, he just want to dance to the horror 80s music. So I have now grown attached to the angry moth noises meme, and he's there.
You have an emotional attachment to it now.
Yeah, so that is my reason for the angry moth meme. And I still never found that fucking picture of Naya, and I dug for a long ass time, so I'm sitting here like, fuck it, I might just redesign your tail again. Who cares?
Oh well.
Cause like it was sad how well it sank up to the music.
Doesn't sound that sad. It sounds delightful.
So, yeah, but see, when you talk about your fairies, I want to have like my fairies introduced, like in our thing, but mine aren't really cool. They're more like insects.
Yeah.
They look like people, but they're pretty much pests in mine. Yeah. That's why Ringmaster literally uses them to like light his show. They're like the lights in his thing. He's like, I don't abuse them. I feed them flowers. They just hiss a lot.
Yeah, mine aren't even like cool necessarily. Like they can do magic. Like they are the only species. Well, all nymphs are the only species that can do magic in my world. But fairies are the ones that can actually do like powerful things. Honestly, I thought about it. I'm like, thinking to myself, I was like, they are kind of like genies in a way in my world.
Yeah, I mean, from how you've described them, that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, technically you can free them from a bottle if you find them in one. But like, because, I mean, they don't have, like, a wish limit necessarily, unless they come into it saying you only get one wish, but, you know.
Don't sexualize the tiny moth people.
No. But, and it's like, but, like, it's funny, because they are really powerful with their magic, but it's not like they can just do it on a whim either. So it's like they get caught really easily.
Oh no.
Which is why there's like a whole thing about how they have to be careful because like people like there's only 50 fairies in the world unless one like, you know.
Oh really? So there's a limited number.
Oh yeah, with nymphs for each one there's only ever 50 of each. There's like 150 in total, but there's 50. For some reason, I have like a weird thing with myths. I don't even know how I ever got to this mythos, but I did. So I don't know why. It just that's how I've done it. But like, there's only 50 of them. They all live to be exactly 100 years old, years, whatever. They only live to be 100 years old exactly. That's it. They live to that old and they don't die before for some reason. But and then they're all like technically nature based and all that stuff. And then
don't worry, we just started, guys. You're good. So because people are popping
and then
in.
each like kind of nymph is only ever one gender. So, like, you know, there's that. And then fairies are little tiny. Anyway, just because they're so like arrogant and whatever. And part of me just laughs because I'm like thinking in my head that like they get caught so easily. They don't have to wander out of the meadow they're born in to help people. They just do because they think so highly of themselves that they believe it is their sacred duty to go help.
You know how I feel really bad. This is really really fucked up that my mind just went to. But so, you know how you had the idea about Tybalt like finding one when he was when he was, you know, when he says everybody on the internet fucking knows him, because you know
when he's a teenager.
Yeah, you know adult Tybalt. Not a lot of people know adult Tybalt.
Oh yes.
But I pictured that, like, and you say that, and I'm sitting here like, this is so fucked up, but it is totally so. No, this is something he would totally do, and the worst part is he would not mean it in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know how like back in the 20s people would like freeze flies to like tie strings on them so they would have like a pet fly?
Yeah.
I pictured he would do that to like the fairy if he found like the one he found. Like he wouldn't be mean. He would just like find it's like, oh, I keep getting kidnapped, and he would like find a way to like get her really cold so she'd get tired. And then he'd like that's what I picture. Is he would just so the little fairy would wake up with a little string tied around her waist, and him holding on to the string. He's like,
so I don't lose you.
Yeah, he's like, now you don't get lost.
And I'm like, I am a sentient being who can talk. Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, you know, and then he'd snap back. He's like, would you tie this around your waist? I don't think so. You've just been giving me sass since you met me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
fuck.
If that ever was a thing, I'm like, for one thing, it would be kind of interesting because, like, unlike Seven Sins and a Baby, they could, like, end up in any place in my world at all.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So it could be, like, I was even sitting there thinking of, like, different scenarios, and I'm like, oh god, what did I think of? I knew I thought of one for, like, for Tetsu or something where, what was it? Like, I almost felt she would either end up with, like, the bats, just because that'd be adorable.
Yeah.
Or, hear me out here.
Oh no.
Or with, like, with the orcs or whatever, which sounds, like, weird. But because there's something, like, cute in my head about the fact, because orcs don't like other species at all. Not like they go out of their way to attack them, they just don't like associating with them. But they're also not terrible people, so it's like, you know, they, like, if they found a random passed out lady in the middle of the snow, they'd probably help. But it's like, I don't know why I got this cute mental image of, like, her just doing nice motherly things for them, and them just being like, this is strange.
But that's what she would do. That's who she is.
Well, I know, because they don't know humans that well. So
yeah.
It's like...
Well, even more so, because I'm assuming your orcs don't look like people, so she would be able to be, like, more of herself and not be as scared.
Yeah.
So it would be like, oh, I'm not gonna die.
Yeah, just...
Hopefully. She's not an idiot. She'd be like, hopefully I'm not gonna die.
Yeah, they're, like, just very big and very gray, and then very buff.
Yeah.
That is the easiest. They're very buff, but like all trolls in my world, they are very family oriented.
They're very what?
Very family oriented.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
that would be her. I think honestly, it would be like the other thing. Tetsu would be great in like any other world than the one she's in. She would be she'd be like, oh, I can be myself and be happy. That sounds like, so mean. She does get a good life.
Tetsu would have such an interesting experience in my fantasy world because there just are so many species, even ones that aren't
exactly.
human.
So she would want to like know all of them because that's who she is.
Yeah, well, it's like even I could imagine her to be the one that like wouldn't get killed if she got caught by a spider.
Yeah.
Because that's a rare occurrence.
I feel like that would be it, because she wouldn't be scared of them. She would just be fascinated by it, and they would be like...
Yeah, like...
And she'd just be like, I need to study you. You're amazing.
Yeah. And, like, the spiders, like, they're naturally inclined to just kind of being sadistic, so it's like, they'd be very confused.
See, you hurt me, because now that sounds like fun,
I know.
But I feel like if we pause what we're doing...
Oh, I know. We're never going to come back.
We would never come back. Or if we would, we'd have to have a detail... You know what we could do? I'm sorry, guys, in the chat. But I feel like what we could do is if we make... This sounds like a lot of work. But if we make like a really detailed list, we could like pause and work on something else for a bit as long as we don't lose this list.
I'm just scared that if we do that, we're going to get so invested in the other thing, we're not going to ever...
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, we'll save it, and then I'll develop my world more, and it'll be good. But this all spawned because just one day in the shower, I was just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know how my mind got from point A to point B, but it just got to like, what if Tybalt just sat there talking to one of my fairies? Oh my god, that would be a train wreck.
Yeah, because Tybalt is... He means well. He means well.
Oh, I know.
But he comes off as such an asshole.
I know, and that's why in my fairies, just all of them are so naturally entitled in different ways, and so like, they get so easily offended.
Also, Tetsu is technically a zoologist now. I've openly said that. She loves zoology and cryptozoology. That's in her bio. So that's... I just don't tend to draw her with them, but she has many pets. Camino is just her familiar. He's a special noodle. He's special. But with Tetsu, she's pretty much like... Because I'm trying to think of how to word this without spoiling a lot of stuff. When Tetsu grows up, she can't learn her magic. It's like the only thing that's kind of keeping her alive is it's one of those like town secret things. That's not really a spoiler because that's literally like in the first fucking chapter. But where because Tetsu's from a really, really tiny little town in like the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And so in the little town, it's one of those like, okay, we won't rat you out, but she can't learn magic. Like that's the deal. Like, you know, it's kind of fucked up, but it's like back in the day if you had like a gay kid, but I mean like really back in the day, and then people found out about it, they'd be like, okay, we won't kill him, but you can't let them just be out on their own. That's gross. Because that's how history used to be like. Woo, not fun. And so, because of that, she ended up, like, always loving animals, but she couldn't really have any. And, like, even the only people who knew about Camino was technically her friend Roland. Like, her parents didn't even really know about him. And so, when stuff happens, and Tetsu's alone, she's kind of like, oh, well, everybody thinks I'm dead. If I learn magic, I can hide how I look, and I can leave. But she has a lot of trust issues with people after said events happen, which is why she likes animals. She's pretty much, and this sounds sad to say, but she's a more socially inept Newt Scamander. like if you gave Newt like people skills and motherly, that's pretty much her. Like when I saw him in the movie, I'm like, this is her house. Like, this is how she lives, is with all these animals, and she doesn't really like people. It's not that... Actually, I shouldn't say she doesn't like people. She doesn't trust people. So she's polite, but she's always kind of, like, a little standoffish.
I mean, I wouldn't trust people that much if that happened to me, so...
Yeah, I would just be like, you know... Animals don't lie, and they have a... It's also why, like, I tell people that, like... She's like a finger quote vegan. I guess she's a convenient vegan. This sounds bad. But like...
Well, she's a vegetarian.
She's a vegetarian. But if the choice arises, she'll do vegan stuff. But if cheese and milk and dairy are there, she's not going to just have it go to waste or have the animals suffer. Because, fun fact, when an animal is pregnant and they need to be milked and you don't milk it, that does hurt them. So it's one of those like, oh, one of the goats got pregnant. I guess I have goat milk now. I can make cheese.
Yay!
Kind of thing. So she doesn't, like, go out of her way, but if it's there, she's going to use it and enjoy it. So, yeah. But especially in, like, she's very diligent. Cough. She's very diligent in, like, her studies. Another fun thing is, like, her notebooks are a mess. Because she's also really, really smart, but she doesn't think she's smart. So when people look at her notebooks and stuff, they had to like decipher them because she writes her notebooks in code. And it's one because I remember that was one of the things in Crackland, like they talked about, and they were just like, "How do you read this?"
Yeah.
Because she like writes in all the margins and everything, and she also pretty much is like, "Okay, this doesn't work. This potion was wrong. Do this and that." And a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's really funny. How'd you get? You're so smart. You figured out it was wrong." She's like, "Yeah, I figured it out by testing it." Which is why I know it doesn't work. Yeah, so, does Tetsu have any flaws? Yeah, she's got a lot of flaws. Like, a lot.
Oh god, we talk about this so many times.
I know. I feel bad. So many people think she's a Mary Sue, and I'm like, she's not.
She's really not. As someone who's had to basically co-write a crossover story with her involved, she's really not.
I think the big thing is because I always say she's really, really powerful and really smart, but a lot of people...
Well, it's like the stuff like, there's a lot of her traits that, like, to most people sound like good things, but they're the kinds of traits that can very easily be turned into flaws, and some people just do not realize that with original characters.
Yeah. And I think,
like,
too...
it's not always a good thing to be trusting.
Yeah, which she learns a lot.
Yeah, in Crackland, she got killed because she trusted someone she kind of already had a hunch about.
Yeah, but it was one of those, like, she couldn't let her smarts win. It's like, no, Fifi's. But that's just it. Another thing, too, is, like I always say, she only got that way because she was in isolation for years with literally nothing else to do.
Right.
So, which people, again, when I eventually get the first book out, they're going to see that because she sucks a lot with magic. She's like, and this sounds really funny and really fucked up, but she's a lot like how, think Naya, but less crass, and that was pretty much Tetsu as a teenager. It's just, when a traumatic event happens, it kind of changes you just a bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Oh, how did we meet? We met in a live stream.
Yes.
It was...
I remember that day.
Yeah, it was... I think it was last... No.
I was in a... Okay, it was like in a live... It was like some point last year.
Yeah, it was some point last year. Early last year, though. I remember that.
Yeah, early last year. And, like, I was... in a live stream, and there were people in my chat saying that you shouted me out in one of your videos. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, who's that? So I went, and then I was seeing some of this person's videos before, and I didn't know you were in the chat.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I am a huge creeper of live streams. It wasn't until Morgan that I actually became, like, active talking in live streams. So I was at home, and I was eating something and just listening to the live stream, and then I heard, like, Morgan say my name, and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh, God, this one.
Oh, hold on. You're cutting out. Let me boot back in, see if that'll help. Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Guys, my internet sucks for Discord, so that might be why. Sorry, you were cutting out for some people.
Yeah, okay, wait, real quick, just random side tangent.
Yeah.
So, oddly, I'm just doing it because it's not really that hard, but I actually do, like, on DeviantArt, I technically do manage a gem group. I don't post anything in there, but, like, I just accept and decline things and make sure everything's organized. Mm-hmm. So, like, really, that's all there is to it. But there is this one person right now who is constantly trying to just submit everything to featured, and I have to decline it all because, I only let you post one thing to feature a day.
Uh-huh.
But, like, also because it doesn't belong there, you know? Like, it's adoptable and stuff. But, like, I can't, like, when you're giving me 10 drawings and you're trying to put them on all featured, I can't see where everything goes. Like, I think you get the point at some point. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Morgan,
it's a little bothersome.
Can you pop in and out real quick? Maybe it's you, because you were cutting out again for a second.
Well, I could just not be talking better to the mic because I am on my iPad. Hang on.
Oh, that's probably why.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, a lot better.
Okay. But yeah, so anyway, that's just random side thing. But yeah, so that happened, and then you chatted my life through, and I was like, oh hey, and then how do we actually like converse with one another?
Well, we were talking in the stream, and then I think I said something like, "Oh, well, I mean, I have a Discord if you guys want to chat." And then you were like, "Yeah," and then we like noted each other's Discords, and then during that same live stream, we were talking.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then it slowly went on from there.
I don't know. I think there was also a point where it's like I think the first time we actually like spoke was that like you were in a live stream.
Maybe
and
that's
like
what
you
it was.
Offered to let me come hang out.
Maybe
that was like the first.
Maybe that's what it was then. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember it was like really soon after that though.
Yeah. But I just remember that, and then it just keeps happening.
Yeah. Now we friends.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I call Morgan a lot because I'm one of those people, and this sounds really bad. Once I know your like name, and you're okay with your name, I tend to use that over your username.
Yeah, well, that's why, like, I try to call, like, Quan by her real name whenever, like, I talk to her sometimes, but I'm so used to calling her Quan.
I know.
It's so hard not to. Hey.
Okay, alright,
With you it's easy, because I've always called you Michi.
Everyone calls me Michi, so it's fine. Or Meech, so whatever. Also, guys, if you have any questions, because I know some people were like, I have questions, go ahead.
Yeah. I know someone before earlier asked me, like, what's the plot of, like, Heaven's Proxies, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like,
it's a mess already. So far, you don't have a plot for it, you just have a lot of characters in the world.
I kind of do. And it's kind of developing in sporadic bursts. But it's also, I said this with my teacher because I was talking to her about it because I was showing her Hope and then, like, all that, and she really liked that stuff. And I was talking about it. And she said, like, oh, so this is, like, your Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, yes.
Okay, if you put it like that, then yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, this is, like, you know, every artist just has, like, that one Lord of the Rings. And this is mine. But, anyway. So, like, so it's going to be one of those things where it has, like, other side plots that converge into one, technically. Mm-hmm. My only rule to myself was that any important plot just has to involve a proxy as the main center of it, because it's what the story is called. So there we go, it all makes sense. But the main plot is at least that there are 3 siblings who, how do I say this like in the simplest terms I can? It's like
3 siblings become God.
Not demigods. Demigods are a different thing in my world. Yeah. They become blessed by gods. They're each god's Jesus. I don't know, but like
they become multiple G's I.
Yeah, G's I. Yeah, they become like they're 3 siblings who all got split apart from each other for different reasons, and a different god basically blesses them for 3 totally different reasons, mm-hmm. and they all eventually reunite. But they're very different people now because it's been like 10 years. But now they're like kind of stuck together where it's like we can't leave each other now because it's like we're all back together and we kind of only got each other. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like they do that, and then it's eventually just them going on adventures and trying to help the world and trying to do whatever it is they do. Then eventually a bunch of other things happen, and then eventually there's love and tragedy and whatever, and then there's eventually a beautiful albino bat child.
I love her. She needs to be protected and get all of the art.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. We got a lot of questions. All right.
Oh yes, please.
Do you like Stranger Things? I loved the first season. The second season I was okay with, but got me nervous, and now I'm really nervous for the 3rd season.
I have never watched it.
I don't think you would like it personally, because you're not really like an 80s horror fan. Because that's kind of what it is, pretty much. I mean, it's not, but it is, and it's not a bad thing. It is good, but I'm not gonna lie, a lot. It is overhyped a lot, in my opinion. Like, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but like with like as big as a clout as it's getting, people are like, "Oh my god, it's the best thing since sliced bread." And I'm like, not, it's like, not really. It's not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the nihilist in me talking.
No, yeah. Well, I get you. That's how I usually. I mean, that's usually how I. Maybe that's why, like, for some reason, I gravitate away from like any kind of mainstream media, whatever thing, because I feel like maybe I'm just like subconsciously saying like you're gonna be disappointed. Like,
well, okay, and here's the thing, and this is gonna sound so douchey and entitled, but like since I've read a lot of books, for me, stories don't make it for me anymore. It's the characters in the stories.
Oh yeah, always for me.
And like,
honestly,
that didn't used to be me, but now it's like I can kind of tell like, okay, where this is going. But what makes it is the characters, which is why like in my stories, it's not, they're not trying to like change the world or change the town. It's like they're just kind of existing and living there.
I've always really loved character-driven stories, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand something when the characters are really bland and forgettable.
Yeah, so, like, the characters... Here's the thing. The characters in Stranger Things, the kids are really good, and I think what helped the hype, and this sounds so fucking stupid, but it has to do with... Okay, Michi Media rant incoming, because I actually like Hollywood and media and shit. I think a big reason why it's so overhyped is because the kids curse and they act like kids. They don't act like Disney kids. They act like actual kids do. And so a lot of people were like, oh, I did that when I was like that age. That's so relatable. And I'm like, yeah, that's what a lot of kids do. And it's cool because it makes the kids feel not like Disney kids.
It makes them feel real.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But other than that, it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah. Well, that's how I've always like... That's why, okay, because we saw, well, actually, this goes for two things I saw recently. Because recently we saw, like, Alita Battle Angel, and we also saw, I also saw recently, without my brother, but I saw Isn't It Romantic?
Oh, how was that? Because I heard it was supposed to be really funny.
Oh, it was really, really funny. And also, okay, I will tell you this. It will seem very predictable, but by God, the ending is actually really good and has like the best message about self-love I've ever seen a sort of romantic theme movie ever do.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Like, do you mind if I spoil a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm probably not gonna.
Okay,
I'm not gonna see it in theaters. So go ahead.
Okay. Like, so you know how most like because I mean, again, it's a whole parody of a romantic comedy and all that stuff.
Yeah, like she doesn't she? Yeah, because doesn't she realize she's in a romantic comedy or something?
No, she hits her head, and when she wakes up, she's in a romantic comedy where nothing makes sense.
Oh, okay, that's how it works.
Yeah, it's like she wakes up in a New York that's like filled with flowers and doesn't smell like shit.
That's
and,
beautiful. That's great.
She wakes up in a hospital that's like with beautiful curtains and all this, and like a hot doctor and all that stuff. Yeah. So you know. But like, so you know how most romantic movies though, when they try to like do the whole thing with self-love, it's kind of skewed because it's almost like you should love yourself because this other person loves you, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and it's always kind of skewed because they try to teach the message of self-love while they're also concerned about like
a relationship,
whether or not someone loves them. And it's like, you know, you should feel valid because somebody loves you. But like with this one, she validates her, like she legitimately has to start loving herself before she actually ends up with the guy.
That's good. That's really good. That's like, and
and that scene is actually really heartwarming because like, okay, do you mind if I spoil the scene? Because
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. So at the very, if anyone else cares about spoilers,
yeah, well, just here, I'll put like real quick, spoilers for Isn't This Romantic? Wait for me to say spoilers over in chat to unmute. Boom.
Woo. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So in the very beginning, there's a thing happening where like she works as an architect in an office and all that stuff. And so she sits by a window, and right outside her window is like this picture of like, you know, this billboard of a hot swimsuit model, you know?
Yeah.
And it's right there. So she talks about like she obviously has her two friends, and the one guy, she talks about like I always see him staring at that like poster of the lady in the window or whatever, you know. Now, to the audience, it is extremely obvious to everybody that he's not staring at that, he's staring at her, and you know that's the twist. It's really obvious because they already established that he likes her, not the billboard or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the very end of the movie, when everything goes back to normal and she's walking in, she's got all her confidence now, she walks up to him, and it's still like, even though you see it coming, it's somehow like just really set up so well because she's like rolling in, she's got all her confidence, and she walks up to him and says, hey, you need to stop like staring at that billboard because that's not a real, like, that's not real, you can't have that, you need to like be more realistic and all that kind of, you know, just sort of do her thing. It's kind of amusing and whatever. But he just gets up, he tells her to sit down in his chair, and he's like, just sit here and look over there for a second. And he walks over and sits down. And so obviously you can see her face is cut off, so he's not looking at the model, he's looking at her.
Yeah.
And it just shows her face, and she's just like tearing up because it's really dawning on her now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like something about it, even though you see it coming, is like, it makes your heart happy. Like, it's just so sweet. Because, like, they don't need to even explicitly say it. And then, of course, it's followed up with it being actually awkward because, again, it's real life again.
Yeah.
Like, they do their thing and they, like, kind of half set up a date with each other. And then they, like, she goes to leave in the elevator dramatically. So she clicks the button and then they have to stand there and wait. Because
it's real life. That's kind of how.
They're like, it's a busy building, you know. So, like, but it is a really funny movie, though. And it has the story is predictable, but it's still pretty sweet. Although it is the whole idea of like how she gets out of the romantic world is not what I expected it to be. So, you know, and it is, and there was a whole joke about like, because obviously part of it is the gay stereotype thing.
Yeah.
Where they're like, you know, you gotta have a gay sidekick. Mm-hmm. So the gay sidekick becomes this weird neighbor of hers. But like,
fuck, I shouldn't laugh at that. Says it's so bad.
Well, because here's the thing. Because you think it sets it up where you think that he like gets a bunch of chicks or whatever, you know. Like there's always girls coming to his apartment, whatever.
Yeah.
So whenever she goes back to the normal world, she sees him in the hallway with another dude, and they kiss, and she's just like, "What? You're actually gay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've always been gay." And she's like, "But what about all those girls that come to your apartment?" And and he says just like, "Because I sell weed." And he's like, and then both he and the other dude start going, it's like, "What, you want your gay guys to like talk like this?" And like, you know, they go,
yeah, you want them to be.
It's so funny.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a good movie. But yeah, anyway.
No, it's okay. Okay, so spoilers.
But my whole point of this whole tangent was that like, and the same thing with like Alita Battle Angel, because like with Alita, again, the ending is a bit disappointing, you know. But again, I can kind of forgive that because that is apparently how the manga ended.
Yeah.
But even with that sort of flaw in the story that's disappointing, the characters were really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like really memorable. And like, again, like my favorite character in that movie is the guy who probably gets a maximum of 5 minutes of screen time. And his only thing is that like he's dressed like a cowboy kind of thing, you know? And his whole thing is that he's a bounty hunter, like some of the other characters in there. But he's like, his whole shtick is that he has these like dogs with metal parts that go after people. So it's like his hellhounds.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole thing is just, it's like that. And at one point, you know, because she has to fight one of the bad guys, and like she tries to get people to help her, but they're like, you know, there's no reason for us to help you. We're not going to do that. But the bad guy, he ends up like, you know, you don't see it happen, but he kills a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, how dare you? But like at one point, he chases the bad guy off in an important moment with his dogs because he killed a dog. And like he says, his only motivation is that like you don't kill dogs. Like you don't.
That's good though. See, I like that. But like that's something that's like interesting. You know what I mean? Like, okay, a good example of like a really interesting world and a really shitty character. It sounds so bad, but that Immortal Engines movie that came out recently. Cody and I saw it. The world was amazing. There was so much lore. It was so cool. The effects were great.
Yeah.
But the characters were so flat. And then, like, there's this... Do you care if I spoil the, like, twist that's obviously not a twist? Okay, so... The main chick, which I liked, the main chick has, like, an actual ugly scar on her face, which is why she wears the scarf and all the propaganda and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's actually an ugly scar. Like, that's...
Yeah, I usually like that kind of thing.
You know, I like that too, and it makes more sense for stuff. And so, anyway, the movie goes on, and then there's, like... Literally, at the end, the evil guy is like, you've known all along. You've known I'm your dad. And she, like, kind of breaks down. And Cody and I both are like, wait, was that supposed to be a surprise? Because, like, it's written everywhere that he's her fucking dad. Like, literally everywhere. And,
well, I'll say this, too. Like, Alita does not have a bad story. Like, it really doesn't. It's just that ending that feels really like, wait, it's over, you know? Because that's how it felt. Whenever that happened, whenever it actually ended, like, it felt like the build up to, like, the final climax kind of thing, but then it just ends and you're like, wait, what? You know, like, it's over? But like, other than that, though, the story is really good. Like, you know, spoilers, I guess. Like, she doesn't necessarily get the happy ending you'd expect she'd get. And, like, it's really interesting and the characters are well written and, you know, and, like, the story makes sense. And some of the little twists in there, that even the ones that show up early on, like, they're not groundbreaking, but they're still kind of like, you're like, oh, interesting. Like, you know, like, there's one really, really early on where it's like they kind of mislead you a little bit. And then it turns out that, like, the person you thought was, like, you thought this, but it's not that. Haha. But,
anime plot twist.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can forgive the ending if that was, like, exclusively, because I think that, like, if that ending was because of the manga, I can understand why they wouldn't have been able to write a better ending, because it's kind of hard. But, like, for a, like, you know, quote unquote book to movie adaptation, I'd say it would be pretty good. And, you know, and also her eyes do make sense with what she actually is.
Yeah, a lot of people were pissed off about that. I'm like, but she's not supposed to be human. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, also because when you see her standing next to the other people who are like her, they have the same face.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, because I still want to see it, so I don't, my tits.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm kind of dancing around it a little bit. But
thank you.
It is very interesting. And even, like, because, again, there's, you know, obviously guy shows up and you're like, yes, the love interest. How could I be surprised? But he actually, so I thought I was going to be really bored with him, but he actually turned out to be more interesting than he was. And people die unexpectedly. So, you know. So it was a good movie. But that's why I think that, honestly, you can have, like, a really kind of mediocre basic story if you have strong characters. You really can.
Oh yeah, you really, really can. I mean, honestly, like, it's why a lot of dystopian YAs have failed in the movies compared to the Hunger Games. Hunger Games did
because Hunger Games was also first.
Yeah, Hunger Games was first, and it did so well that a lot of people were like, oh, okay, we'll do this. And then it's like, but then the characters are bland as dirt with no reason. Right. And it's like, okay, this is cool, but how am I supposed to root for you when you're bland as dirt? Like,
yeah, how I don't feel to you, I don't relate to you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. There was a thing recently that I saw that, and I didn't reply to it because what's the point? But, like, there was a person, and they were just making the joke where it was like, you know, male writers when writing female characters.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, and, like, which, I mean, that's funny. I can laugh at stuff like that. But then in the comments, of course, or in their replies to other people, of course, they were talking about how, like, no, there's not a stereotype in reverse. What are you talking about?
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, and it took all of my willpower not to respond with, like, you know who I think writes female characters the worst sometimes? Other women.
It's so true, though. Honestly, like...
And also, I'm sitting here like, you know, usually when people write one gender bad, they also write the other gender poorly. It's almost like it's not a matter of gender, and it's just a matter of being a poor writer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think another big issue is, and this sounds very mean, but I think a lot of them don't proofread their work. So, like, their characters don't have... No, that's not a good way to word it. Like, when I write dialogue, I try to think if an actual person would fucking say this. You know? Yeah, like there's a lot of things...
I've been told I'm, like, really good with dialogue, which is weird, because I don't have a lot of conversations.
I don't either. I don't talk to a lot of people. I feel bad. I don't... Like, I think that's why San Japan killed me, was because I had done so much talking in such a limited amount of time. I'm like, oh, I just don't talk when I'm at home. Like, I'm quiet. But no, oh, fuck, what was I gonna say? Really good. Okay, so... But then, like, another thing, too, and this is one of my favorite authors is Stephen King. I've never said I wasn't. And the problem with Stephen King, though, is... He kind of has the reverse issue, where people will publish his shit because it's Stephen King. And I bring this up because I'm rereading Pet Sematary to prepare for the movie. And there is, for no reason, a hand job scene. And I totally forgot about this in the book. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, why is this here? Like, it's literally out of nowhere. It's the doctor and his wife, and they're having a night out. And the reason why I bring this up is because I totally, like, blocked this out of my memory because it has nothing to do with the plot, the story, or character development. But after she gives him a hand job, he goes like, wow, that's pretty good. Where'd you learn that? And she's like, summer camp. And then, like... That's it. That's the scene ends. And I shit you not, like, that's the scene. And I, like, flip my page, and I'm like, wait. Why was this in there? Like they had no inclination that they were having marital issues, or that they were having sex. Why is this hand job scene just randomly in Pet Sematary? Because it was so weird, and there was no reason for it. But it was there. And I'm sitting here like, and it made me think of like other books that are like that he's done, where he has a lot of weird sex stuff in his books that have nothing to do with it. And I'm not talking about it. Like in The Shining, one of my favorite ones, there's like a sex scene with Jack and his wife, and he describes some really gross stuff happening afterwards. And I remember reading it, and I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Like, this has nothing to do with what is happening, what's going... And then some people are like, well, you know, people have sex. And I'm like, no, I understand that, but what does that have to do with the story? Unless they implied that they weren't having sex for a while, and then they had it.
Stephen King was just having a good...
I guess, you know, but it just that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, if I was an editor, I'd be like, okay, we're just gonna take these, like, 2 to 3 pages out, because they don't need to be in there.
Yeah, well, like, okay, yeah, and, like, I've actually, it's funny, because there was a night where it's, like, I think you, like, went to bed early or something, like, or earlier than usual that night, so I was just kind of sitting there, and I wasn't tired, so I'm like, what can I do, like, while I'm just sitting here? So I actually got, like, a good chunk of my, my story edited a little bit, like, just working on, like, at least, I think right now I'm just kind of skimming over and just fixing the major stuff, and then I'm going to go back and, like, rewrite some things and whatever. So it's going to take a while, but whatever. But I actually got a chunk of it done, and at first I thought, I'm going to do this for, like, 30 minutes. And I swear to God, I'm going to sound so egotistical when I say this, but I swear I'm not. I'm surprised I even was to begin with. I got really into it and I kept going.
No, I've had those moments. I don't think that's egotistical. I think that's that's the writer brain talking. It's like when you're drawing a picture and you're just really into that picture and you're like, fuck, I want to finish this. I don't want to do anything else right now.
Like I got to the part where it's like I had some of the goofy stuff happening, and maybe part of it was because I knew what was coming next. But and then like the whole shipwreck thing was happening, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta keep going. Like I can't stop now." So I've gotten more of it done, though. That's surprising. I want to do it because you know what? I know it's not going to be New York's bestseller, but I want to publish this thing. I do.
No, you should. And I feel bad because I read like half of it, and then I hate Google Docs format. I'm sorry. I hate Google Docs format. So I've read.
I sent it to you with Google Docs, though. It was technically a link to a website.
Was it? Either way, it wasn't formatted how I liked it. I was having a hard time reading it. Because I have to read it off my computer and not off my phone, and so I'm like...
I can read it on my phone. What are you talking about?
It won't let me read it on mine. Try relinking it. Let's see. Maybe it'll work now. Okay. Because I think you sent it to me back before I had an iPhone. Yeah. Because I remember before...
Because, the thing is... Hang on. Check this out on my own phone. Because where on the app I wrote it on, it'll, let you send a link. And it's not like a Google Doc, but it's, its own kind of thing. So you can, if you send someone a link to it... Hang on. I'm going to, try the link out myself and just see... Oh, here, I can preview it. Cool. I don't know. Maybe it just... Because you didn't have an iPhone at that point. I don't know.
My old phone was dying, though. But, when we became friends, my old phone, when we started and stuff, was dying. So that could also be why, too.
Oh, my God. So, the part whenever I have the lady doing her thing and I have to drag on her sentences, or her words...
Yeah.
Some of them are like, wow, and and because it is 3 W's with a dot at the end, it's reading like a website. So that's highlighted blue.
That's great. That's great.
Here, try this.
That's how I feel about Ticks and Turns, is I'm like, even if it doesn't get published, I'll self-publish it and put it on Amazon so it's at least out there, and then I'll be like, I did something.
Yeah, and I mean, not like internet books aren't, they're kind of only going up right now.
Yeah, no, they're not. It's not a bad thing. I mean, heck, there was one that I really liked that was an ebook for the longest time and then became a book series in Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, who knows? Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, and I just
oh, okay, now it's working. All right.
Yeah, maybe it was because you had your old phone whenever I sent it to you the first time.
No, I don't want to read this on my TV. I want to open this in normal... Can't I
You want to read this book on your TV?
No, can I please open this in, normal Safari? Because right now it's only letting me open it in... Okay, there we go. Now I have it in Safari. There we go. Now I can read it. Yay. Also, dude, what the hell is that username?
What?
The hell is that username?
Oh, that's my email.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, okay, listen, there's actually a story behind it. Because, technically, it was supposed to be a shared email between me and my brother. So it's technically it's a combination of the first few letters of our first names.
Oh, okay.
But he never used it, so it just became mine.
I mean, hey, that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, so that's just my email. It's weird, but it's not really that weird.
It's okay. Mine's just my username. I'm not unique.
Yeah.
We have some questions.
Oh, yes, please. I'm sorry, we've gotten so sidetracked.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Did anyone inspire you to start YouTube? Not anyone in particular. I grew up with YouTube. When I was, freaking, 11 to 13 is when YouTube, came around. And so I was like, no, I think it was even earlier than that. Because didn't YouTube start in 2008?
I have no idea.
How old is YouTube? I have to Google this. Hold on. Okay.
I just know I started with Minecraft videos.
When did YouTube come out? Okay, 2005. I was wrong. So, yeah, I was in middle school, and I remember YouTube was big because I was learning the ways of the weeb. And back in those days, we didn't have Crunchyroll. If you wanted to watch anime, you had to look up on a handy-dandy Google or Ask.com, which was a thing. And so then it would take me to YouTube. And so to watch my anime, I'd have to go to YouTube and watch it in 8 to 10 parts. Because back then, you could only have a YouTube video, I think, be a maximum of 5 minutes? If that?
I don't know if that was the case. It was more I know people do it for shows nowadays. You have to split it up to avoid copyright. Or to avoid getting taken down.
Maybe that's what it was. But I remember there was...
Because people do that with Steven Universe. That's...
Yeah, but I remember that it was... You never saw, a 10-minute video. That was the thing on YouTube. And then I remember I started watching, I found, people who did speed paints and speed draws and screenshot edits of stuff in MS Paint that I definitely did when I was a teenager. Cough. Oh, MS Paint. Oh, Naruto screenshot edits. The memories. So,
I started with like speed paints and Minecraft Let's Plays.
So yeah, I started from there, and then I got into Let's Plays, and then for making this channel, I liked watching speed paints. I did. And so I just kind of made some of my own speed paints, and my other friends made speed paints. Art topics and talkie videos weren't a big thing back then.
Yeah.
I would say
commentary in general wasn't really a big.
Yeah, so that was kind of it, and then it just went on from there. So, let's see. Do you like Black Mirror or Adam Ruins Everything? No and no. I don't like either of those. I think Black Mirror is interesting, but the issue with Black Mirror is it's like really hit or miss for me. And that sounds bad. But like with Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and stuff, you only had like a couple of bad eggs. With Black Mirror, it's like half of it's bad and half of it's okay. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I've never seen it, so I have no idea.
It's pretty much like they're all dystopian short stories of like how the future's gonna be. The one I did like a lot though, there was one I liked a lot where like everyone has this like implant in themselves, and so this guy, his girlfriend broke up with him and she blocked him, but because she blocked him, he can't see her in any of the photos. Like she's literally blocked out, like you can't see her, and so she has a kid that he is like, that's my kid. And so he doesn't know what the kid looks like because the kid's blocked out too, and she won't let him see it and all this other stuff. And then he like kind of finds a way around it, and it turns out the kid's not even his kid. The kid's like Asian. So she had an affair with somebody else. And so he ends up killing the kid and killing his wife. And then this guy uses technology to, like, convince him to confess. And he confesses. And then at the end of it, they're like, yeah, but your technology is what caused all of this, so we're blocking you from the world. So the guy, like, leaves, and he literally can't hear or see anyone. And they can't see him either. So what they see is, like, you'll literally just see, like, a red figure walking around.
This was terrifying.
Right? And so that was the only one I really liked. Because there was another one that was, like, about slavery. That was like, yeah, you gotta ride a bike for 1,000,000 years to pay off your debt. And you have to watch porn or shows, because if you close your eyes, it'll have this really loud, annoying siren. So you're forced to watch the porn. And I'm kind of like...
Why?
Exactly. I'm like, okay, why? Why is this... Yeah, besides, like, oh, yeah, you're slaves. And I'm just like, okay.
Besides, like, I'm a bored... like deity or something. With people.
Yeah, I just, but that's what I'm saying. It's like some are really, really good, but the really good ones are really hit or miss. And then some of them are just bad. Like apparently there's one where like a politician has sex with a pig for some reason. And my brothers are like, yeah, just skip the pig fucking episode. And I'm like, okay, but why is that there? Like, like that's why I'm asking this. It's like, yeah, so...
Why?
As for Adam Ruins Everything, I just don't really like those kind of shows. I'm not big into reality TV unless they're crime dramas. I am like a crime drama whore. I love true crime shows.
I recently found a show, and it was funny because I actually started watching it. At first, I was thinking, I'm probably not going to stick with this. But by the end, like, the resolution at the end of the first episode, though, was, like, so, like, weird and intriguing that I was like, huh. Like, because it's like, it's called Luther. Mm-hmm. And it's like about a detective who deals a lot with, like, people who are, like, kind of like, psychopathic killers and narcissists and things like that. Usually with the more, like, I think it delves a little bit to, like, the mental aspect about killers and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, too, is that he's a very emotional and hot-headed person. Mm-hmm. So, like, he gets irritated when he can't, like, arrest someone on, like, instinct alone, when he, like, knows what's true and all that stuff. It's very interesting. And the first episode's also interesting, too, because, like, it's also part of it is him trying to balance his actual, like, normal life with his, like, the psychological stuff of, being a detective that deals with murders, and really fucked with shit. But What's interesting though is like, this is just for the first episode, so if anyone wants to go watch it, spoiler alert, I guess, for the first episode. But and so the first thing is that he deals with a case. There's this thing that happens at the beginning that sets everything up, kind of, but like he deals with a case where it's like a girl's parents or father at least, like he is murdered, and he sits down and has an interview with her. And the moment he walks out, he's like, she did it. Like, she totally killed him. But he says the reasoning why is because, like, she is a narcissist, and she wants people to know she did it, but she doesn't want to be arrested for it, you know? And she's, like, manipulative, she's, like, narcissistic and, like, very not remorseful and all that. And, but they have no evidence to catch her on it. So throughout the episode, while he's also dealing with things going on with his wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, he, which that's actually very interesting because doesn't end, the relationship doesn't exactly end like you think it does by the end of the episode. But while he's trying to deal with that, this girl's like right in his ear. I think her name's Zoe I don't think it's Zoe. Hang on, no, it's not Zoe. It's I forget what it is, but oh goodness. So she's right there, and at one point he actually like threatens his wife, and like nearly like attacks her. So at one point he actually finds her and he sits down with her, or like he's standing with her, and he basically just tells her that like if you don't stay away from my wife, I'm going to pin this crime on somebody else, and no one will think like you're a mysterious murderer or something, because someone else will get the credit for it. And so he basically threatened a narcissist by saying everyone will forget you. And it kind of works. I mean, it's
shitty to say, but that is kind of how narcissistic murderers are.
And she gets like really angry at him. He kind of found a way. So she doesn't get arrested, but like, you know, he kind of won that battle with her. Yeah. But then of course she becomes very obsessed with him. And like after watching the second episode, they have a very intriguing relationship. Like it's not romantic, but it's like, okay, it's really funny because she's like obviously won't leave him be. Yeah. And at one point she like at the very end of the second episode, she like is standing there and she asks if he wants to get coffee with her, and he's like, no. Because like, but I don't know, I think they say something else, and then she convinces him to go get coffee or something like that, and he's just like, one coffee does not make us friends. And it's just like, then what does it make us? It's like, I don't know, but not friends. It's like so weird, but I'm like, it's oddly intriguing.
That's beautiful.
And again, strong characters, so like...
So everything you love.
Yes, it's just really weird, but you know, it's working. Okay. And the lady playing her, the other lady, is a really good actress, so you know what? It's all good.
That's always good. That's always good. All right, let's see. Do you watch anime? I'm picky with anime. Like, it sounds bad, but it sounds so hipster. But only like 5% of anime is actually good. The rest of it's kind of trash.
I used to watch a lot of anime, and so much anymore.
Yeah, I used to watch a shit.
Although I would watch a lot of like less mainstream stuff usually, but
hipster.
I mean, my brother's like really into it still, or like kind of into it still. So just certain ones, like he's really into JoJo, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. He tells me about it all the time.
So do a lot of my friends, and like this sounds weird. I can't get into it. I tried, and it's too weird. And,
I will tell you this: the creator, from everything I've heard, that is a man doing and living his best life. All right.
Oh yeah, no, because like apparently he like also loves like music.
He will forget things in his own show all the time, and he'll just try and like make a different solution for it.
I mean, hey, if it works, it makes you happy.
It's amazing.
I just personally not a big thing. Let's see. Do either of you watch Young Justice? No, I don't watch Young Justice.
I think I started watching it with like kind of stopped, so I don't think so anymore.
House Crack.
No, that was a different show, so no, I've never seen it.
House Crackland. Well,
Oh, here we go.
So
sorry, guys. No more questions can be answered.
I recently made one of my favorite characters, and I hate love him.
Love him.
I hate love him.
I love him
so much.
I love him so much.
His name is Lexington. He's an envy demon.
I love him so much.
And he has to be... I honestly can say, I think he is my most over-the-top character I've ever made.
He is the most flamboyant character.
He is the most flamboyant...
It's great because I still, every time here is a really flamboyant French guy.
Yeah, it's...
That's all I hear.
Well, that's because that's what he is!
I know!
Let's see, how should I explain him without it being too weird? So, okay, when he was a human...
He is 90% of a...
What?
The unfortunate truth. He is 90% of a stereotype.
He is, and...
He's not just a gay stereotype, but he's the kind of thing that would be a stereotype.
He would, but, that's what I feel so bad about. I'm like, God, I love you, and I hate you at the same time. Orphea's gross. Lex is just fun.
Lex is just having a good...
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so, I believe I've talked about how my demons work and stuff in my world. So, how my demons work is they're pretty much, they're like pests. They're all over the place. And how they get magic is by making deals and contracts with other mortal beings, so it doesn't have to be human. It could be fae or vampire or anything that's sentient, pretty much. Dragon too. It's actually interesting. I wanted to mess around with that. I just don't know which dragon would do it, because I'm I would be a pretty desperate dragon to do that, because they're not dumb. But what happens is, you make a deal. Most of the time it's for your soul, and then when your soul's gone, you kind of end up becoming a demon yourself, unless you die, and then you go to my world's version of hell. And so, that being said, your wish can be almost anything, depending on the price. Obviously, I've had to think of it through a lot, because I'm oh, what's to stop someone from being oh, I want to be king? And then it's one of those well, it's going to be erasing a lot of history, so that would be a lot of power to do. So it'd be you need a lot to give me in return for that kind of thing. Yeah. So with Lex was originally a girl who she didn't realize she was trans because of the world that Marked is. It's in medieval times, so it's not... She always felt wrong, but she didn't know what it was, and it was just kind of oh, well...
They didn't have a word for it.
Yeah, they didn't have a word for it, so it was just one of those oh, okay, and I'm a highborn lady, so I don't have a lot of rights either. So, at least in the West, in some other countries, it's kind of different, but in the West is pretty fucking European. That's pretty much all of Europe. Now that I think about it, the West is just fucking Europe, so she ends up meeting up with a demon, not knowing it's a demon, because she went to kind of a bar, and the demon kind of tricked her, and then she woke up as a dude, and her whole family knew her as a dude, and she was extremely happy. She was oh, this is how I've always wanted to be. And so she felt very happy and very nice, and she tried taking over her dad's he tried taking over his dad's business and everything. But then a few years later, Demon's okay, buddy, time to pay up. And so then Lex got his soul sucked out, and he got to keep his male form, and now he's a demon. And now he's just the reason why I play him the way I do is because he's I'm already a demon, so I don't need to give any fucks. Why does it matter?
No more needed.
Yeah, so he is 100% himself in every way he wants to be. And so, because of that, though, he ended up meeting Axis and Nios. And because of that, they're both God, I like him. Why?
God, we're supposed to kill every demon we see, but
yeah,
God, you're funny.
Yeah, demons are evil, but this one motherfucker. And it's great, because, where Nios is from, he knows what trans people are. Axis didn't really, so Axis is, trying to understand it. And he's I I don't get it. What do you mean? It sounds like a curse. That doesn't make sense. And I was like, hey, it just kind of happens sometimes.
God, I swear, one of, like, just the one line that just killed me was just whenever it's just like pointing at the map, and it's just like, why do you act like that? Is it a demon thing? And he just says, it's a homosexual thing.
Yeah. Because, like I said, he gives no fucks.
There is none.
And so I love him so much, and I want to, like, actually draw him at, like, a perfect bio and just throw him in there. And I'm like, you're not going to show up anywhere, but I just want to have you. You're great. I love you. You exist.
Well, I mean, hey, that's with me, like, and Sage and Stephanie and all that.
Right?
Like, you're never going to show... God, I love you.
But yeah, so currently in Crackland, Axis and Nyos are trying to save Lex's soul. Nyos' kids are going through crises, multiple of them.
All of them.
The only one that's kind of okay, but also kind of being forgotten is Tessa. So she's just like, okay, I don't exist. I'll hang out with my friends and my bugs. And then we've discovered that all of Axis's children have a mental disability of some sort.
Oh yeah, so that is the best discovery.
So
it's terrible, but it's true.
They do. So Adalric has a version of autism. We don't know which one yet. Probably Asperger's, right?
Yeah, I'd say Asperger's because he's really, like, socially awkward.
Yeah. And he's so serious all the time, so, like, nobody knows.
I know, it's like combined, like, a social disorder on top of the fact that he just doesn't feel a lot of emotion.
Which is probably...
So it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, so he's just... Yeah, there's that.
But he's also the sweetest boy in the entire group.
He's so sweet. He is. He's great. He recently got a wife by mistake.
Because his dad and uncle were signing papers without paying attention.
Because they were having a fight, like they do.
Yes.
And so, let's see. Milla is a psychopath.
Yeah. And I actually looked it up.
No, not psychopath. She's a sociopath. That's the difference.
No. Actually, I looked it up with a friend. Now I know.
Oh, so she is a psychopath then.
Yeah, she's a psychopath because the difference is sociopaths have they can feel empathy, but they have a hard time feeling empathy, and they are the ones who are more violent, spontaneous.
Ah, okay. So yeah,
psychopaths are like are the businessmen and.
Yeah, okay, so that who have no empathy.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, so that's Milla.
Yeah, she is a psychopath.
So she's a psychopath. Kling has extreme OCD, we've discovered. Like, he can't deal with dirt or being dirty. Which is sad, because, like, he had a freak out moment, but because that he is a horseman's kid, he, like, can't...
Because he is essentially cursed.
He can't really freak out, so he's, like... to everyone else, it's like, oh, he's just sad. And it's like, no, that's like the closest he can have to like a fucking like panic attack and freak out.
To just freaking out.
Yeah. And then we have Ys. You want to talk about Ys?
Ys is a narcissist, and that was the most obvious one we had. She is just a total narcissist. Because we just knew that from the beginning because she's what started it. Like, I am the best, like, because I am the best and no one else is better than me, Mm-hmm. I will not believe you if you dare try to tell me that I'm better than everybody else. But on top of that, we also discovered a different character quirk with her recently. It was so stupid. That was you, though. That's what's great. I don't even know. I think half of it was because I was so tired and I was replying. Because I just made one joke, but then the other kids kept carrying it on. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm just rolling with it. So we discovered that Ys just eats flowers like candy.
Yeah, like... And she doesn't, like, eat like a lady. She just fucking, like, eats them.
Yeah, she just eats, like...
So, like, if there was, like, a rose bush... Well, probably not a rose bush, that's, like, thorny. Probably, like, a hydrangea or something. She would probably walk over to it and then just throw her face in it. Not pull it out of the thing. Just pull her face in it and just eat it like a fucking cow.
Yeah, like, it's like some guy is trying to, like... win her heart, like, gives her a bouquet of flowers, and she's like, oh... my favorite, and she's just like, he's like, oh, I knew you would love them. Like, out of nowhere, she just shoves her face in them and starts eating them. And like, and then the guy's just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, and the reason for that is because Ys is the most dragon out of her siblings. Because another joke we had,
excuse we created.
Yeah,
So,
Ys, like when she was born, was the only half. Well, she's not even half at that point. She's like a quarter. But
she's a quarter dragon.
yeah, she was born like as a dragon, which doesn't happen. Which at some point I want to flash back to that just for reaction's sake.
Just to get the what the fuck.
Because everybody would be like, what the fuck just came out of you?
Like Bella would be like terrified. Like,
oh yeah, I'm sure Bella would. Yeah, I'm sure Bella would freak the fuck out.
And then of course, because the baby needs to eat, she can eat.
She just what?
Like, she just turns into a human so she can eat.
Yeah, and then it's just like what?
And that's how we know what her person.
Yep. She's pretty much like next generation sloth.
Yeah, I'm determined to make everything about Ys as weird as it possibly can. Like,
and well, that's just it too. She's the fourth kid in line, so she can like afford to be weird. She's like, I'm a girl and I'm the fourth in line. I don't give any fucks. I'm never sitting on the throne of either of them.
I'm eating.
Let's see. What do you think about the idea of the 7 deadly sins as a mental illness? Had the idea for a while, but I didn't know if it sounded good. What do you mean by, like, it's an illness?
Like, if you mean, like, people who are the sin they are because of a mental illness, because that'd be really easy to do.
Yeah.
I could do that right now.
Yeah.
Or I could at least give you ideas if you wanted.
Because
I know.
Another thing too, we discovered that Milla, when she grows up, if this happens.
Yeah, we somehow got.
We went from Ys eating flowers to Milla being in like a strong like BDSM dom relationship where she's the dom.
Like she's an absolute dominatrix,
but she just doesn't care. Because that's just who she is. So it would be like.
And it just started because I made a stupid joke that, like, whatever husband she gets would probably be, like she'd do something terrifying. Oh, I'm scaroused. So, like,
yeah, exactly.
I got into a whole other thing. Anyway.
That's what she's gonna be. Like, because she is still low-key salty she doesn't get to rule the West. She can't show it, but she's like, I'm the firstborn. This is the bigger kingdom. We have the best military. This should be mine.
Yes.
So
we're just sitting here like she'd be like secretly a villain, but no one would know to deal with her.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like she'd be a villain, but they couldn't like put crimes on her because she only goes after bad people. So it's one of those like
she'd be like a true psychopath.
Yeah, it would be one of those like you invaded these other countries. They needed to be fixed.
No, and then like because then she does other things. It's like can't really. Like, she might be, like, one of the few quote-unquote villains that wouldn't really get a redemption arc, really.
I don't think she could. Like...
Because, yeah, especially, you know...
Yeah, well, it's like, it's just, again, it'd be one of the...
Yeah, and I feel so bad, because then I'm like, children she has going to be terrible and terribly neglected.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like she would be that mom if she got pregnant, which, again, it would be, like, she would, but it would be one of those, like... Oh, okay.
She wouldn't do it because she wanted to.
Yeah, she'd do it
because she's like, I need it.
Yeah, I need an heir. And then she would... I told you, that's probably what's going to happen, is she's probably going to pop out a kid and then give it to her mom and be like, okay, raise this until I can stand it. I have work to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that would mess Bella up and Axis. Like, but Milla, it's your kid. She's like, that's nice.
I mean, I know Bella would love that child and care for it, and then it would suck because, like, you know, now you like raised that.
Yeah.
Or you started to, and then Milla's like, well, now I have to take it back.
Yeah,
so.
And now it can walk and talk. It's mine now.
Yeah. Now that it can be a proper lady or gentleman.
Man, I love Crackland. That's what someone would say.
Oh, I know. I swear, it's such a ride. It's like our excuse to do any weird story idea that we just can't really do in our own stories right now.
Yeah. I will say though, I will say though, the deal with Crackland did help me figure out a like plot point that I had for a while for Tybalt's story. Because I'm like, you need a girlfriend. Like you need a love interest for your character arc to like follow around.
I mean, I'd like gladly design.
You'd gladly design A.U. Noel.
Yes. Just like give me the context and I'll do it.
Yeah. Crackland is awesome listening to you guys talk about it. Well, thank you. I'm happy.
Thank you. I love talking about it.
Yeah, Tib is best pirate boy. He really is. And, like, that's another thing, too. We were making jokes before about how, like... Because there's, like, so many other parts of my world that are really interesting. We have to get the fuck out of the West. It's like... But everyone's there. That's the one that sucks. It's like, you guys couldn't settle in, like, the South where it's the Japanese people. Or... Wow, that sounds so racist. No, that's not what I meant. I realized that came out so racist. No. Like... Japanese, Asian-inspired cultures, because the East is very, like, Egyptian and Arabic and Indian-inspired cultures.
And
so, I feel bad, like, just saying that, like, I realize, I'm like, fuck, that sounds so racist. It sounds so bad. Confirmed, Twisted Disaster is now a racist. That's how it works,
Add that
right?
to your card.
Right, add that to my magical t-shirt of everything.
You're transphobic, you're...
First creep show is now racist, now Michi. Oh, Jesus. But, yeah, I mean, we could do something with that, because we got Yue now, so we can, like, have them visit. Have fun. But, like, that's another thing, too, is, like, there's also, like, this whole thing in the Great Ocean, but I also have no idea how it would, like... I don't know who could do it. Like, that's another thing, is it's, like... There's this whole thing going on in the vast ocean that, like, Naya is kind of a part of, but can't do much of because of her situation.
Right.
Excuse me. Fuck, I think I swallowed air.
Oh, no.
Okay, I think I'm better. But, like, if they ever came to a point where they'd be on the ocean, they could, like, deal with, like, the pirate lords and, like, there is technically a settlement, like, in the middle of the fucking ocean that no one knows about that a lot of people live on. But I'm also like, how would we get there? Who would go there?
I know.
I mean, we're gonna have fun when we go to my world's version of hell whenever that happens.
Oh, goodness.
Here's a good one. How's Gabe doing?
Oh, Gabe.
I feel bad. He's been, like, so sidetracked recently. Like, every time he's around, I'm like, my boy!
He's still there.
Yeah, he's there. He's just scared.
Just different things are happening. I feel so bad. Both Gabe and Dimitri are, they're doing a lot in the background. It's just, like, not current plot relevant.
Exactly. It's in the background. Like, there's a part I'm waiting to pop up where, like, someone's gonna snap at it, but I want Dimitri to just, like, snap back and be like, I stopped a typhoon. You know how hard that is? You deal with your petty, like he'd snap and, like, that would be it. He would just go off. He's like, you deal with the fact that Niles, you can't keep your dick in your goddamn pants. I had to save thousands of people from dying. You can deal with that. I feel like he would snap and then, like, come back to reality and be like, what the fuck did I just do?
Just Gabe, Gabe, they're like, please, like,
hubby,
like, baby, please.
Yeah, hubby, no.
then don't worry, it's okay. Cookie.
Oh, Vissam got a boyfriend though. Vissam and Lex are dating. Oh, that's what's so great though, because, like, with Vissam's character, that is something I did think about, is I'm like, what if he wanted to be the more, like, dominant one in the relationship? A little bit. Ah, fuck, hold on. Hello? Okay, hopefully it's better.
Yeah.
Well, something because I thought about that with Vissam, and it made a lot of sense that, like, he would want to be more dominant in a relationship. Not, like, extremely, obviously. But he'd be scared because of, you know, his parents. So it'd be like, no, I can't have those feelings, because if I do, I might like them and then I'll become a monster, like my sister.
Cough, cough.
Cough, cough. And I feel bad
I
because I'm sitting here. I'm like, Karen can't do a lot of shit when she's a kid. Like I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, there's not a lot you can do.
We just gotta wait because they came up with this stupid idea for a new plot. So like,
Oh, what was your idea?
remember the whole thing about how it's like, those sin things? Yeah, I like those. I think we should bring those back.
Yeah, and that would be it. And that would take a long time for her to try to like set
and
up.
That would be. We'd have to make sure that like some things are out of the way. That'd be a big plot moment.
That really is. That really would be. And we'd have to pick who the next sins would be because we already know Ys would be Sloth.
We just know Ys has to be involved.
Yes,
because it just
because it's Ys.
It kills me in my mind to think that Karen would like try and pick people that she could manipulate to be like, you have to join us now. Like we're the only people like you,
Yeah. They'll never love you. They'll kill you.
To be the friendly Samaritan, and then it's just like, no, fuck you. Like,
yeah.
No. I don't like your face. It's like, but they'll kill you. It's like, I'd rather die than have to go with you. Like,
I feel bad, but I feel like that again would be Ys's like narcissism. Be like, I am a princess. I'll just hide.
I will do whatever I want to do because my family loves me. So you can't tell me my family loves me because I know they do. Because I'm perfect.
Yeah, I am perfect. Do you have a fire horse? I have a fire horse. I don't think
so.
Do you have a? Do you have a six-legged
tiger?
Yeah, a six-legged tiger. I didn't think so. Oh, I'm sorry, Christian.
Also, I'd like to say that having this conversation has made this drawing I'm working on so much nicer because I had to just be the one where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to draw every chain link on this character, because that's not going to be painful to do, and I'm just going to do it, So I've done it, though. It's nice.
So what character are you designing?
Well, I'm not designing it, but okay. I put it in your chat, so I don't know if you saw it or
not. Hold on. You got me into a chocolate.
Well, no, it was a while. It was. So I don't know if it's drowned out, but there was
Hold on, real quick.
Someone
distract the chat.
Hello, chat. Hello, ask me about Crackland questions or something. I have no idea. Just ask me questions. Let's go. Feel free to ask me questions, chat. Woo, spooky. Why am I such a nerd? I don't know. Always. Is there ever a happy moment in crime? Like when Ys just randomly eats flour? Oh yeah, there's nice moments all the time. In fact, there's a lot of stupid, silly moments, to be honest. Oh, when did you discover the Crazy Sin arc and how was it developed? Okay. I came up with Seven Sins and a Baby because I thought of a name. And I thought, I'm going to roll with this. Everything else is developed spontaneously from different places. Although Michi is responsible for helping me get like 90% of the actual plot. So you can thank her for that whenever the actual like ending of the story happens in like 15,000 years. So yeah, it just kind of developed spontaneously. But it's also because I'm not really aiming to make it some revolutionary story. I'm just looking to have a good time. So that's why things might not make a lot of sense, but that's part of it. Seriously though, how have you been? You haven't. I'm good. Whoa.
Frick. Okay, I'm back. Oh, she is a big buff lady. I like the heart mace.
Oh yes. Well, here's the thing. I got 3.
Of her?
No, 3 add-ups. Okay, listen, the story is that there was someone, she was doing Valentine's Day add-ups, and I'm a fan of hers.
Uh-huh.
Now, I thought for some reason that, like, oh, I know. I don't know which, I kind of would be good with a few of these, but I don't know who's going to bid on what. So I'm like, I know, I'll just throw a bid on all of these. I'm sure someone will bid against me. And then, like, no one did.
Oh, so this is your character now.
I got all 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
Do you see all 3 of them?
Hold on. I just see 2. I see Heart Mace Lady and Wing Guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, okay, well, that's in my server. In your server,
Oh, okay.
it's deep in the art chat.
Okay, your Patreon one or your normal one?
Your chat.
Oh.
Your Patreon server.
I only see 2.
No, they're far back. It's not my art.
Oh! I'm an idiot. Okay. Oh, Candle Drip Lady. Okay, yeah, I saw her.
Yeah.
I like her. She's pretty.
And I don't know what to do with her, but I want to do something with her. Now that I have her, and I stole her from Angel, and I feel bad.
Oh, did Angel want her?
Well, Angel starting bid, and I thought Angel would bid against me, and then she didn't, and I feel so bad.
Poor Angel.
I'm sorry, Angel, wherever you are. But yeah, I'm working Mace Lady, and I just did all the chains on her mace.
I mean, if it's your
her though.
If it's your character, then hey.
Well, no, I'm like, well, usually when I do chains, I kind of cheat a little bit, so.
I mean, I do too. A lot of people do. Don't feel bad.
I know. Well, no, I know, but for some reason on this one, I'll just single link for chain.
Morgan, can you pop in and out real quick?
Oh, sure. 1 second.
Okay.
Whoa.
Hello?
Hey, whoa.
Okay, you're better. You were cutting out bad.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah. So I'm working on her right now, and I love her. I'm also, like, Angel Dude and her are, like, right now my current OTP, so it's all great. Well, because, like, I came up with an idea of, like, what to do for them. So I don't know what to do with Candle Lady, but I know what to do with them. Where it's, like, they are both spirits, and the way that spirit world works is where it's like they kind of work like demons in a sense, but they're not demons.
Oh yeah,
because it's spirits.
Toshi is suggesting, how about candle golems?
I don't know. That feels like something I'd have to make a whole other story for, and I'm trying to avoid that. I mean, then again, I'm talking about a story I made exclusively for these 2 characters, but it's okay. But like. Anyway, but their thing is that they're spirits, and so spirits, like, they get bored in the afterlife, so they just decide on, like, hey, how about we have, like, jobs, essentially, that mortals can hire us to do? So it's like, whenever you summon a demon, you know how, like, you know, you'll be requested to put really weird objects in the circle.
Yeah.
So, like, the reason why they do that is because then they take those objects, and they use it as currency in the spirit world.
That's great.
So it's like, because they wouldn't have a use for, like, money, or, like, they might eat food just for fun or whatever, but, like, they don't need it.
Yeah.
So they just pick really weird stuff that they can trade to each other. So anyway, but their thing is that, their dynamic is that big scary red lady is, like, what is called a heartbreaker, where it's like crazy exes can summon them to go kill their ex.
I love it. So she does.
And so she'll do it, and because time stopped, she can make it look like an accident too.
So she just beats motherfuckers with her mace.
Yes, but on the contrary, if you think your ex is crazy enough to kill you or summon a demon to come kill you, you can hire a guardian angel, which is what the angel boy is, and they come and they protect you for like 48 hours, and for like as long as you think someone would want to come kill you, you just have to give more stuff. But the thing with those 2 is that for some reason they always end up kind of quote unquote working together, where she'll get hired to kill the person he's guarding, and they don't know how it keeps happening like that. They're not the only people who do those jobs, but it keeps happening. So now they've just turned it into a game where it's like, how many can each person win, and they just like kind of half flirt with each other, half taunt each other as they fight. Because they can't die.
Beautiful.
And so that's my thing with them right now. And I love them. But yes, that's what I'm working on right now as we talk, and that's great.
Once we're done talking, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna end up. This sounds so bad. I'm probably gonna end up like laying down again because I'm getting a little. I'm just really tired because I got dick sleep last night because since Cody is sick, he is the hottest motherfucker to sleep next to. Normally, when he's sick, it's like pushed up to 11. And I don't know, I'm one of those people, I can't, like, when it's too hot, I can't sleep.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's uncomfortable.
But so, like, because of that, I'm like, oh, well, my sleep schedule's gonna be fucked anyway. So...
It was nice while it lasted.
Exactly, it was great while it lasted, and give it, like, 2 weeks off and I bounce back around. But, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Oh! Well, I mean, I guess we could say this. Morgan and I are going to be in another zine at the end of the year. We're already in one! Look at this boy. Look at this boy going for all the zines.
Did 4 pictures for a zine when I only had to do 2. Or no, 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. Because that was me. I'm like, oh yeah, technically I did 3.5.
Woo!
And then we joined the other one that'll come out, which is going to be fun, because... I
know, I'm excited. I like it.
You're going to do your Phoenix Wright angel lady.
Yes. gotta have some, like, sexy lawyer ladies, am I right? Oh, goodness. And I just want to put Larith in there solely because I'm like, hey, we need him for those people who just like some, like, more manly-looking women, you know?
Yeah.
Can't discriminate.
Well, you were saying you're gonna put her in like a dapper suit and stuff.
Oh yeah, just holding a glass of wine, like
hey,
like a proper lady.
What do you think of this?
I might do Candy, and yeah, because Candy's great. Anyway,
who's Candy?
My candy corn demon lady. Remember?
Oh, right, her. I forget her name. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Candy.
And she's perfect for like slight not safe for work stuff too, because that's.
Oh yes. Oh yes, she is.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Morgan has drawn the titty.
I know this is shocking.
It's on his DA. It's there.
It's there.
What do you think of the concept of the soulmate kind of thing, where 2 people are always reincarnated, then find each other, but instead of romance, they fucking hate each other? And I mean, hey, it's different. I mean,
sounds delightful.
With how, like, I always like soulmates, is kind of what we did with Morgan and Kai, where, not this Morgan, oh, same Morgan, where, they'll always be, in a sense, together, but it won't always be romantic. It could be, like, their best friends, or their, you know, parent and sibling, or even, like, grandparent and, like, grandchild. Like, they're always gonna be together. Just not in the way, like, most people are like, we're gonna be reincarnated as lovers, ooh. Which, I mean, technically they were. Before.
Yeah, which... Oh, God, it just makes me sad thinking about if we ever somehow get to the point where, like, Morgan would actually die.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would happen, but, oh, it'd be sad.
I don't feel like how that would happen either. I also feel like poor Gabe and Dimitri are going to start feeling the not aging soon, because, like, everyone else is aging, and they're, like, they're aging themselves up, but I think at a certain point they're just going to, like, kind of stop.
Oh, yeah.
Because Fifi's.
Christ.
And it's going to happen soon. And we know it's going to happen soon where people are going to start getting picked off.
This sounds so silly.
I know.
I'm like, at some point, I really want to just draw, like, old couple version of Tybalt and Noelle.
I mean, you can.
Because I think they're just going to be... I just think they'd be an adorable old couple.
I do, too. They would be, like, just... They would be like the perfect grandparents.
They would. And like, just because also in my mind, just Noelle just with like an old lady bun with some little tiny doctor glasses.
Oh,
she'd be an adorable old lady, okay?
Tybalt would finally get his beard. He would finally get his goddamn beard that he's always wanted.
And he'd get to grow his hair out again.
Yeah. Santa.
Oh, good babies.
God. You know what's sad, though, is, like, there's some characters that, like, I've never... Just characters in general, doesn't have to do with Crackland. I can never picture them being old, and it makes me sad.
That's me too. It's just really hard.
It's so hard. And then I'm like, but I don't want you to die young.
No, and you're
But
like,
I can't...
no.
But, like, at the same time, I can't see you as an old person.
You know, it's just... like, you know, just sometimes you have characters where you're like, you know, I can entirely see what you're going to look like when you're old.
Yeah.
Like, I just know. And then there's other characters where you're like, old? What's that? So, like...
Exactly. Like Siren.
I get that with a lot of my characters, honestly.
Let's see. Okay. Any more questions, guys? You got anything else you want us to talk about?
Wink wonk.
Tub beard. Oh no, Tib. You know, talk about vampires. About what kind of vampires? We both have 3 versions, technically. Morgan's got his vampires. I have my marked vampires. And then I have... Oh, how did you learn color theory? Oh, this is going to be an easy one. Sorry, Leah. I literally just practiced. Like, a lot of my older characters, you can look through my DA and see this. Everybody had, like, set color schemes that had to do with, like, their hair. And I didn't really deviate from that. And then eventually I'm kind of like, okay, I'm kind of sick of this purple on purple and stuff. The only one who stayed the same was Ringmaster because he's aesthetic, so...
You can't change Ringmaster.
I can't. He's the Panic at the Disco Fallout Boy circus leader, because that's literally what inspired him. You know? So... But yeah, you eventually learn as you go on. I don't think anyone's, like, great with color theory at the start, especially when making characters and stuff. But sometimes, as weird as it is, it just takes, like, one person. Like, Aerofex, Anna told me how, for the longest time, she only ever drew her character Eros in the same way how I would do characters, where his color schemes were yellow, gold, brown, and black, and that was it. And that's all she'd ever draw him in. And then she'd commission him for a lot of people back in the day, and people would only ever draw him in those colors and those outfits. But she said she got one commission where someone put him in a red shirt, and she was like, oh, fuck, he looks great in red. And then so she started incorporating other colors that way. And I kind of had the same thing with mine, which is why, like, a lot of my characters have multiple outfits. Like, Tetsu, she's all over the place. The sad thing is, though, she has a hard time wearing yellow. It's one of her favorite colors. And she's like, I just can't find yellow that fits me well. And so she doesn't wear a lot of it. And she wears a lot of dark colors, not because she likes dark colors, but because a lot of her stuff gets dirty because of what she does. So it's one of those, like, if she could be the little cute little pastel golden mom, she would. But she can't because she gets dirty.
Oh.
So
yeah, I typically work with color schemes because that's just easier for me. I don't know, but like,
well, no, there's nothing wrong with working with color schemes, but I mean, like,
oh yeah, well, like, I don't know, like,
how you make colors.
I just get like so attached sometimes to like a character having a certain like color palette that it's kind of like I like that aesthetic, especially with like my more color themed stories, like the one that is just called colorful because I'm not clever anyway. But yeah, like, I mean, with, like, the Sins, I just made them those colors because, like, that's just how they started, and I obviously wasn't really putting that much thought into their designs, so, you know.
I mean, hey, that's technically the same with my demons, is I'm like, you guys can't deviate because of demon magic, so you're all just goths. You're goths with one color thrown in.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, you know, the other group in my story, their colors are a bit more crazy. And then my mages are just like whatever seasons they live.
Yeah, your mages are, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's like fall is like, it's ironic because in my mind I'm like, I feel like fall and winter would be more strict on the color palettes, but then like spring and summer is like, yeah, like it's either bright colors.
No in between. And then you've got Cassandra.
Oh yes, and then there's Cassandra, who just wears like exclusively purple.
Let's see. How's it going with watercolors? Still going. Still practicing.
Woo.
Sorry, I don't have anything like really big planned. I want to learn watercolor better before I take time to plan a big piece, and I don't want to fuck it up. So, let's see. What are your thoughts about the new Steven Universe episodes? I'm going to be making a very big, in-depth video on that in the future.
I am not.
I am, because I plan on rewatching the entire series, because I fucking have time. We're not getting anything new until November. So, yeah. I'm going to rewatch the series, take notes, and then I'm going to do what I did with my pixels before, but I'm going to do the fusions this time. And I plan on doing all of the fusions. So, when I have time... Oh, I know I'm gonna die. But think of that merch, boy. That's kind of another reason why I'm doing it.
Think of the puns.
Is when I have time... Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do first is rewatch the entire series, which realistically, they're 15-minute episodes. I could probably do that in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I would write out what I want to say. I would say out what I want to say. And then I gotta make the art to go with it. So sometime in March, most likely, is when that video will go up. But again, since we're not getting anything new until the fucking movie in November, I think I have time. So,
yeah.
There's that. Let's see. Yeah, we said the mental illness thing was a good idea, buddy, for the sins thing. What's your favorite couple that's very clearly a dom and sub relationship? Oh, fuck. Fuck. I don't think... I mean, the only one I can think of we can't say, because it's technically a spoiler.
Which one?
I'll text it to you, hold on.
Yeah. I mean, also it doesn't help this. Yeah. Well, I mean,
technically.
Yeah.
Technically it is.
Well, only because it's, like, the closest thing to, like...
To that. We've
like
never...
BDSM kind of thing.
Yeah, but we've never actually role-played that. We've just had them talk about it. And even then, they only talked about it when they got drunk. So it wasn't really, like, let's see. Besides that, I think the only one we would have would be Mila and her future husband. Whenever, if ever that happens.
Yeah.
But...
You see, it's funny that we... like, say it like what ifs, but then at the same time it's like, oh, I feel like I just know. Unless something big happens.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. And knowing you're gonna beat me to it, design little sub-prince who likes getting beaten.
Well, I gotta know. He's like the reincarnation of one of my characters, is what you said.
Yeah. Is he gonna be blonde too?
Probably.
I'm excited for when he re-meets so-and-so, though. That's gonna be the best part. Just be like...
fuck, I thought you were dead. Like...
slowly gets... What'd you say before? It was like Merrick with, like, having to protect Maxie. Be like, slowly gets knife.
Yes. Just, like, slowly reaches for knife.
Let's see, yeah, out of your characters. The only one that, like, is kind of set in stone, I can't tell, because it's a spoiler, but, like... This sounds bad, but for majority of Tybalt, Adrian, and Alador's relationship, I don't like thinking about them in that way. Because for most of their story, they're teenagers, and I think that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, I mean, I made the joke when Tybalt would be older, he'd be kind of basic. Like, not bad, but just...
Well, yeah, no, we made the joke before that he and Noelle are, like, super vanilla.
Yeah. It's not a bad vanilla, but it's just... I don't like thinking...
It's just to everybody else in Crackland, it's like...
Yeah, like... Because I remember there was a time, a long time ago, where, like, I tried drawing... Like, I drew not safe for work pictures of those characters. Aged up, obviously. And I just never really liked them. I didn't feel like gross. But now that I'm older, and I'm like... yeah, I'm not comfortable with that anymore. Yeah, none of them are really like that. I mean...
I'm trying to think, because, I mean, we probably have something, we just haven't, like...
Thought about it. Well,
explored.
Yeah, but, like, let's see. No. Because I was thinking, I'm like, maybe Lorelai, but then I'm like, no, wait, I remember what happens to her. Never mind, that got X real quick. How about you? Do you have any sub and dom characters? Because I have some that aren't marked characters. Like my succubi are pretty into that, but like they're not in marked.
I mean, I don't like, because most of my stories don't really delve that deep into that kind of thing.
Yeah, so mine either, because it's not the point. It's just, if anything, it would be like a fun fact. It wouldn't really mean anything.
I mean, the joke is that lust is a power bottom, but I mean, counts in this scenario.
But that's lust. I feel like he doesn't care. We know he doesn't care.
He fits whatever he can be, whatever you want him to be. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, and then like we have fear, but fear's just gross. So
there we go. That's
there we go. Fear and lust, but they're not together.
Yeah, they're not. It's absolutely crack. I just feel bad for any day that anyone wants to ship lust with someone and I have to just laugh and hidden.
Laugh and hidden?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I didn't mean just
I can't even say why, but I do.
I didn't mean just Mark, just any of your characters. Oh, easy. My sweet succubi, because they're all succubi, so like all of them are things. All of them are into that. So...
I'm trying to think if I have any...
I feel like you do, but again, it'd be one of those, like, if you think about it, you're like, that makes sense for you.
Yeah, I'd have to, like, think about which of my characters would actually be in this one video.
No! Don't give my marshmallow to Dick Mitri. He'll eat him.
No!
Because someone's like, Dimitri and Dimitri as a crack ship. Like
no.
Pastel's Dimitri. No! He'll steppy on him! He's too big! Like, literally, Pastel's Dimitri is supposed to be like 8 feet fucking tall.
Gosh, you need to give me his reference so I can
finish
that picture.
I know.
It's so funny.
I know, and just we need little pink Dimitri there. It's probably going to be a while because remember she doesn't have her computer. It's on her computer.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. But
he'll steppy on it. He would. Dick Mitri's into that shit, and my Dimitri is a soft boy.
He's not.
He's definitely not. Like. That's the other thing, is, like, I think about it, and, like, Dimitri doesn't really grow up in Marked, technically. Like, if I did, he'd be a spin-off. So, it would be a long-ass time before he even awakened. And I feel bad, but I'm like, I don't think Dimitri could have someone. Because his perfect person is Gabe, and he can't really have that.
I know, we can't have Gabe in either of our stories. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. He could have a fast boy, but it's not the same.
It's not Gabe.
Yeah, so Dick Mitri would kill Dimitri. Yes, he would.
Oh Jesus! I finally finished lining this bitch. Anyway.
Yay!
You want to just see the line art? Like Jesus.
Yeah, let me see the line art. Also, it's okay, Kitty Dragon. Don't feel bad. we answered it. So cool idea.
The base color.
All right, let me see.
Hang on, I'm filling it in with the color real quick. Just so you can see how much work I put into these stupid chains.
Make references, damn it. I know, but I have to work on my queue. People have been waiting over a year, and it makes me feel like trash.
Oh, work on your queue.
Not that I didn't offer fucking refund. Okay, I'm gonna go on a quick tangent real quick. Sorry, this got me really pissed. So I had a person come out to me recently. Now, if anybody follows me on DA and Twitter and stuff, I have openly said I'm offering refunds. Many times. I have only had a very few amount of people respawn. They want refunds. Other people were like, we get it. We don't mind waiting. It's fine. I'm not talking about you guys. Okay? I got a very angry email the other day.
Lovely.
Of this person saying how I was extremely unprofessional for taking so long and how I should have refunded them months ago and all this stuff. And I sent them screenshots with timestamps of the multiple journals, notes, and emails I sent this person offering refunds if they wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept either not responding or saying it's fine. And so then I gave them their refund and they're like, wow, that was really easy. And I'm like, it's why I offered refunds. And then after I gave them their money back, which I'm not going to lie, it wasn't that much money because it was back when I did my sale last year.
Yeah.
They were like, You really shouldn't be, like, talking to yourself as a professional, because you're not acting very professional right now, and I'm just
God.
like, I offered multiple journals for refunds if you wanted them. I emailed you multiple times for refunds. You could have had them. And they're like, then they tried throwing my TOS. They're like, well, they say in your TOS not to ask about it. I'm like, I have made multiple journals, multiple emails, multiple things on Twitter, constantly offering refunds if people wanted refunds. Where I said, in those details, contact me if you want a refund.
Mm-hmm.
My little rant is over, but it really pissed me off because I had another person ask for a refund who was very polite about it. Who was like, oh, hey, it's been a while. Can I just have a refund? I'm like, sure, here's your money. And they're like, okay, have a nice day. Hopefully things get less stressful. And I'm like, see, it doesn't have to be easy. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
But,
well, some people just, looking for, hang on, I'm almost.
Okay.
It's cool.
So
I just wanted to, like, add on to the fact that I am putting way too much detail into this one character that's not even, like, relevant to anything I work on.
I mean, who cares? It's your character. But you should be working on those comic pages, buddy.
It's just... It's okay. I'm working on
I know you've been working on them, but do the other people know? Do they, Morgan?
Okay, here we go. There we go. I got it. Boop.
Let me see. Hold on.
Hang on, it's loaded. There it is.
Do you want me to show the people?
Feel free.
Okay.
My new big buff demon spirit lady.
I really like the expressions you've been doing with your faces lately.
Thank you. I'm glad you noticed.
No,
I'm working on it more.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, because I wanted to just try and get out of the habit of making like where I keep kind of making. I feel like I've been in a habit where I've been focusing on making the faces a bit too clean.
Yeah, no,
like, I need to get out of my pretty face habit, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. I feel the same way. I feel bad because, like, I have so many
I've been working on, like, especially with, like, noses, especially. That's the big thing I've been working on. And then also with, like, the eyes and stuff like that. So I've been working on it and trying to make the faces a bit more interesting.
I like.
Thank you.
She can steppy on me. I'll probably die, but
she can mace you.
She can mace me, exactly. But no, but yeah.
I'll do her boyfriend next, and Jesus, it's gonna be its own kind of ride.
But yeah, I totally know how you feel. I feel bad. I'm okay doing that to my characters, but I feel bad doing that to some people's, like, other characters, because I'm like, I had a bad experience, I think I told you, where, like, this person had a very basic anime character, not to be mean, and I'm not gonna say it was, so I tried giving him more details, and I gave him, like, a more detailed face, a little bit, like, more of a nose and stuff, and then they were super pissed off that I didn't make him a cute anime boy instead, and I was just like, okay, fuck it, if they don't specify it, I'll just basic pretty anime face for commissions, unless they say so.
Yeah, well, it's like, I might throw something in there because I like doing stuff and I like making things interesting when I can. So, I mean, I might throw in something in my rules or whatever where it's like, hey, if you want your character to look a certain way, like, you need to tell me, you know? Like, it's just because I love doing that kind of stuff. It's just fun. And that's why I've been, like, trying to do it with my recent stuff. And that's also, like, you know, with the eyelash thing, like, I'm doing that so it doesn't look like all my characters are actually wearing eyeliner. Surprisingly, not a lot of them do. But they also, just because also, like, I'm, you know, like, geez, like, white eyelashes are pretty and all that kind of thing. So I'm like, yeah. But I'm doing, and also because with the ears, because I'm like, after a while, I'm like, you know, those ears look so oddly cartoony against the rest of where my style is going. So I'm like, I need to start putting more detail in these ears.
I also feel that. Like, I'm like, shit, because, like, I was working on recently. I'm not gonna lie, I may have stolen your little thingy on how you did your different races for different sections of people in your world that you did on Patreon. And I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna steal this, but with my stuff.
Do it.
Because I like it, because I really want... Nothing wrong with Ticks and Turns. I'm very proud of Ticks and Turns. but it's not my fantasy world. There's not a lot I can fuck with. I mean, there's vampire lore, and I did work on it, and I am still very proud of it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but with fantasy characters, you can do a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
yeah,
so...
well, that's why I like seeing fantasy worlds that really go ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you totally can do that. I mean, that's what I wanted to do with those like races, because I'm like, I want them to visually look really different, not just in like just in color and whatever, but like in faces.
Yeah, no, exactly, because that's something I wanted to say, because like technically that's another reason why like I want to update Adrian's bio. I want to draw her how she like used to look like before she became a mage, because she only wears those clothes because she, well, like, as you know, she's not really happy she's a mage, but she's like, I can't be around normal people anyway, so fuck it, I'll dress like my people did, so.
Yeah, well, it's like, that's also, because whenever I was doing my races, and something I found, like, that was oddly helpful is when I was coming up with what each race would look like. I had a concept of like what the people would be like. I just didn't know how they'd look. Yeah. So I actually made like lists essentially of like, here are like 4 different traits for humans, and I have to give each species a different one. Mm-hmm. And like, so I did for hair, like that's what I did was a like straight, wavy, curly, and then frizzy. And then each one got a different kind of hair. And then like, with face shapes, I was like, I think for my elves, I put like a heart, long, round, or like ovalish, and then like diamond shaped.
Aww.
And I was like, so that's why I was just, it's oddly helpful, because it just kind of gets you in the mind of, I got to make a combination, and I can't give 2 people like 2 races like the same kind of face shape, which I mean obviously there's exceptions because it's like real life, but you know.
Yeah. Oh no, but exactly, like, okay, so speaking of that, ironically enough, I was working on my elves recently, and I was thinking about them getting old, because I'm like, okay, I need to stop having all these pretty people. Now technically this wouldn't happen to Cassie because she's not like a direct descendant of her aunt and everything, but like with the sun elves, when they get older, if they're not the priestess kind of person, their hair actually gets darker while we get lighter. So they would end up like a really old person they'd have wrinkles and everything, but their hair would end up being like...
Itchy?
Yeah?
You want to know something about really ironic about that?
No! Are you serious?
I was just thinking about it in the shower, because I was like... Because I've been coming up with some other character concepts, okay? And I was coming up with this one. I don't even know how I got from point A to point B, but I was like coming up with some proxies, and I'm like, you know what? I need some like proxies that aren't just young people. So I came up with like, I first came up with this one that's like he's an old satyr guy, and he's like really funny. But then I also came up with this one, and I'm like, I want to make her half human, half elf. And I was having, like, you know, in character, I was going on a ramble about, like, elf and human genetics. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be ironic if when elves got older, their hair got darker? Because it would be ironic if the sun species and the, like, because, you know, sun species, moon species, like, basically did the opposite, essentially. And I'm like... just like, because they've already been so opposite before, so I was just thinking about that in the shower for my elf.
See, coincidences happen, because I haven't talked to him about this. This is fact on live stream. I did not talk to him about this. But no, because I had it for the same thing, because I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cute if, like, when they were born, they all had really, really light hair, same for the nightshades, and then they would just, like, grow into their color. So it would be one of those, like, I just picture when Rowan was born. He's just this little white hair baby. And Jack's like, why does he have white hair? And his mom be like, oh, his color will come in. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I love it.
And then I was I was like, that way it'll be another thing different than them besides their blood. Because I'm like, you don't see their blood, so.
Yeah, and like, I was thinking, because again, like, I was on like spree of just thinking of random stuff as I was talking to myself. And I came up with the thought of like, ooh, what if like, just to add on to the whole like reverse hair thing, like what if genetically elves were opposite of humans. So like humans, darker traits tend to be dominant,
Yeah.
Like you're more likely to have darker skin if you're like a darker skin tone or darker hair or whatever. So I'm like, what if with elves it's reverse? You're more likely to have the lighter traits.
That's cool. I like that.
And I'm like, it also is kind of ironic, sun versus moon. And the sun people are getting darker, and the elf people are getting whiter.
Yeah. Oh, see, but that's so funny that happens.
It's fun. I love world building so much.
I do too, and it's just
I'm so bad at like executing things, but God, I love setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I need to set up this D&D session. Anyway,
that D&D session.
It's gonna be a wild time, let me tell you.
That D&D session on top of... You gotta finish your comic, buddy!
I know.
But just... yeah.
Yeah, honestly, at some point, I might just start like, hey, I'm just $10 patrons, you getting comic pages.
I mean... Whatever makes you work on it more. You put so much work into 7 Cents and a Baby, and I've helped, and I want to see these babies grow.
I know, I do. And that's part of my thing is that my only thing is like, I don't care how long it takes, I just don't want to give up on it. That's all I said to myself. Well, like, even if I'm going to have some burnout, I just don't stop. Like,
I think especially since you're going to be in college soon, my boy growing up. Got accepted and all this good claps. I know you're super terrified, but I'm super happy for you. Like my other little brother, I don't know if he told us, but he moved out recently when he was going to school, and I'm just like, I'm so proud of you boys.
Guys,
let me be the proud mom. I'm proud. My brother and my other brother at this point, 'cause you guys are the same fucking age.
Internet brother.
My internet brother are going off to college to get an education. I'm so proud.
Quiet.
And you guys are also both going into the fact that you guys are going into fields you both like make me also happy. Because my brother, originally my brother was like, maybe I should go into something that makes money. And I was like, don't do it. Go for something you like. And then he's like, oh yeah, fuck that. I'm going for computer science. And I'm like, yay. My boys. What about giving them race-specific mounts? That's a thing, too. That's
what I'm doing on mine.
Like, technically, the Sun Fae, when they're not being snooty, they would fly the dragons that live on the island, while the Nightshade this sounds bad. They've kind of lost their culture at this point. Like, back then, how I saw it was back then, they would ride, like, elk and deer and boars, but, like, really big ones.
Mm-hmm.
But then the war happened,
Yeah.
And so a lot of them have become very, I don't know how to say it, because it wouldn't be westernized because it was the world. I'd say humanized. Yeah, that's about right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you gotta go?
No, that's fine.
Okay. But, Tiny, I keep forgetting we're the same age.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's a ride. Anyway.
Well, I mean, you can talk. You can talk about your cool mounts that you came up with your people.
Oh yeah, I was coming up with. I need to do more concept art on that. I just keep forgetting to. But I mean, honestly, nothing though tops the fact that the East rides emus. Okay,
and nothing can beat that.
And also that for some reason my brain, like, what can I give the Eastern people who already have kind of Eastern culture? That's not super on the nose, like Eastern animals. Yeah. Oh, I know. Australian animals. And, like, I also love the fact that they're, like, draft animals are giant wombats and et cetera, et cetera.
It's beautiful.
And I need to work on some of the other ones. Like, the South, they have elephants and all that kind of thing. And they're party animals. Anyway. Like they have their thing, and then the East is literally the most basic bitch there is. They're the ones that like literally has like foxes and horses and like you know,
yeah,
as basic as you get.
Yeah, they're my world's west. They're just like, yeah, we're just
Yes. My west is your west, anyway. Like, although I was thinking I wanted to give,
an
like
emo
my main...
war.
Yeah, I wanted to give my main characters, though. I really wanted to give each of them, like, a different kind of mount of some sort. And I'm not sure what it would be, but I'm like, I want to give them something, because they're all traveling a lot. So, like, at some point, I feel like they'd get one. But I'm like, part of me sitting here, like, I feel like Comet would have a horse. So, like, that one's pretty easy. But then I'm like, with Eclipse and Star, I'm like, I'm not quite sure. Because Star would probably have something elvish because she's got, like, learned things with elves, so... But then, like, for Eclipse, I don't know if I can...
You know what's funny? Sorry to go back to Crackland for a hot second.
Oh, yes.
But I'm really sure that Tetsu would have given Nightmare to Nyos.
Oh.
So that's, like, his mount is this really scary, freaking 8-legged horse.
I love it, though.
Let him have the tentacle horse with the 3 horns. It's just like...
Yeah.
I just love it because since Nightmare doesn't really... Well, she's not... Well, I shouldn't say she. They are just this kind of thing. So it's not like you have to feed it or anything because they just eat off of Nightmares. So it'd be one of those just like... I just picture just every now and then just... There's this creepy monster horse chilling in the stable.
It's just there. Like...
And it's like, oh, you haven't ridden her in a while. You should go do that. And he's like, oh, she's fine.
Yeah. Trust me, she's fine. Like...
But so that's just something I think is great. That I'm pretty sure, like, out of the few pets that stayed, would be Nightmare. Camino's gone because kind of a given. He had to go.
Of course.
He had to go so Seung could get honey, which that's got to happen soon because like
I know. I need it. I need honey.
Well, he needs honey too. He needs a friend.
Because
poor Anthony, he means well, but he's just super protective.
No.
So, like, when we got to that part where Seong was like, why do I even ask? I already know the answer for things. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Poor boy. Alright, let's see.
Oh, he tried.
He does. Let's see.
So hard.
See, I'm trying to come up with an idea for my Minotaur race. I have noble ones riding, like, dragon horse kind of things, while evil cultist Minotaurs ride, like... smaller versions of chimeras. That's cool. That's a neat idea, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I've personally never been
fun stuff.
I've never been a big fan of Minotaurs personally. Just not a big fan. But I know why a lot of people like them. So.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I was not able to find a way to incorporate like centaurs and stuff in my world. Because I'm like, I don't know, it just something about it felt like I just couldn't find any natural way to put them in there, which is weird because I have like spider monsters, but like, you know, I just couldn't find a way to do that.
Well, it's like I was saying, my world had those and satyrs. They just got killed off first,
right?
So they existed at a time.
It makes any story I ever have, if I ever have satyrs in it, they're always like a clan of party animals. And they're all just bros.
I do have to say, though, I love how you do mermaids. I really, really do.
Thank you.
Everyone must love the Herm Merms. which you should probably explain. So.
Yeah, well, like, it was actually funny because I was working on, when I was just on that D&D thing, because I'm working on, like, stats and stuff for, like, certain species, because species are going to play a big role in, like, starting stuff. Oh, yeah. But, you know, obviously, because, like, certain species can only be from certain places, and, you know.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there, and I had to make separate stats for, like, a normal female mermaid and then a hermaphroditic mermaid, because, like, they are both genetically, like, super different. So, like, because, you know, hermerms are supposed to be able to rip you in half.
Yeah,
the normal mermaids are supposed to be charming and pretty. So, like,
they strong.
They are strong, manly women with a penis.
What the fuck? Why did that get me. Just the way you said it.
Why do I like yell it to the house? They have a penis.
Lord. When did you fall in love with games? Real quick, 'cause I gotta go back to that because this person's gotta go. I've played games since I was a little kid. My first games were on the Game Boy Advance when that came out, so that's when I really got into gaming. Whatever year that was, I was still a kid, but God, I know why you said it that way, but it was so fucking funny. And all I could make me think of is what you said about what's her name? Not Dawn's daughter.
Oh, Ina.
Ina and Tessa meeting when Tessa becomes a hoe and just being like, oh, if my dick didn't work back then, it sure does now.
If I was ever worried about it, at least I don't have to worry anymore.
Oh, God, that was so fucking funny. Well, yeah, because how Morgan's work is all of his mermaids are female, but they gotta breed somehow, so there's every now and then a Hermmerm born, and they are the alphas in the thing for the most part.
Yeah, they are the men, essentially.
Yeah.
But, like, I think I said it where it's, like, I normally go with where it's, like, usually whenever, like, normally it's, like, 50-50 kind of, about, obviously it depends, but, like, it's about, like, for normal people, it's usually about 50-50 on whether or not you have a boy or a girl, but for, like, mermaids, it's kind of like kind of a 75-25, because, like, yeah, so it's kind of, oddly enough, my mermaids work similarly to lions, where it's like they have a territory and it's like...
Yeah, they have prides.
Big bad, like, Hermmerm defends the place, and then all the pretty mermaids are, like...
They raise the kids. They raise the kids, and they...
They have a good time, and, hang out, and they're the ones who choose whether they stay or leave, so,
But, I still remember that one where, like, they all went to Gabe, and they were like, this is a man, this is an empress?
Like, excuse me?
Poor Gabe.
Oh, Gabe. It just never, he'll never escape it.
Which is funny, because when he gets older, he gets more of a masculine face. Like, he gets a more masculine face when he's older.
He's just short.
Yeah, he's short and cute. He's a small boy.
And with long hair.
Yeah.
I'm just like this one person screaming dicks. Magic dicks. Magic fish person dick.
Oh my god. But I like that, because like how I always saw it with mine was it was kind of the same way, but it was just that males were really, really, really rare. Kind of like how, but like not to the extent of my elf people, because my elf people, it's like a 2 female to 1 male ratio. Because after thinking about it, because I always had that for the Sun Fae, and then I'm like, no, it would make more sense to have the Nightshade Fae be like that too. It wouldn't make sense for them to just be like that. So I was like, yeah, so it's like 2 to 1. But with my merms, because the ocean's so fucking big and there is like an Atlantis-like thing in the middle of it, I like having different types of merms depending on the area. So like some of them are like 2-tailed merms, some of them are more siren-like.
That's something I'm gonna have to figure out with my world, because there's some species where I'm like, there has to be subspecies. That's like with my like bats, like why mouse has like wavy fur.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Well, it's like I was saying how then the imps are around and they're just kind of like, it's like technically they're like a genetic cousin, but not really.
Yeah.
And then we have I have actual sirens on top of merms, but my sirens are more like I mean, I can't say mermaids aren't mystical, but they're more like kind of like the thing that lives in Tetsu's swamp, like there's not really a race for that. It's like he's technically a spirit, so in a way they're more magic-y than my merms are. My merms are just monsters that just happen to turn into people. The sirens are the actual like mystics.
Yeah, well, like I have, well, because like what's fun is part of like what I've had enjoyment in is like when I've been coming up with, because like I have my whole split species thing with the gods and all that. So you have for like 4 sets of species who are all somewhat related. So I've had to come up with like, you know, certain traits that are like reoccurring and stuff. So like it's just kind of funny for my mermaids because it's like you have tropical mermaids who are the colorful fantasy mermaids, you know, who are like their lion pack selves. And you have like the deep sea mermaids who are like horror movie mermaids that
you just don't want to deal with.
They don't just murder. But yeah, that's a different story altogether.
It was like, no, it's like that fucked up thing we can't talk about, but you were like, that
like,
probably happens.
I have to really explain, like, why my deep sea mermaids do what they do. But, like, but they are genuinely the monsters of the sea.
Yeah.
But then, like, then you have the amphibians who are, like, you look at them and you're like, okay, to explain, it's like you have like 3 pairs of cousins. You know, so you have like tropical mermaids is like the normal cousin. Then you have like they like obviously related to them, but like kind of intimidating older cousin, and that's the deep sea mermaids. Then you have that weird cousin no one talks about, and that's the amphibians. Because they're more like frogs than they are like mermaids. Or like fish.
Well, I mean, it's like kelpies. My kelpies, they're just water horses. They don't really, they're just there.
Like, they live in the swamps, and they can move on land, and they're kind of like hillbillies, is like the only way I can ever imagine. They're not hillbillies, but they kind of like are the fantasy version of a hillbilly. They're like the swamp people in Avatar: The Last Airbender. That is the best way I can describe them.
Those are hillbillies. That's what they base them off of.
Exactly. They're fantasy hillbillies. But like, because they're all very thick, quote unquote, and they're very like, you know, they're like personified frogs, but they have like big eyes, and that relates back to what mermaids have. They don't have tails, but they do have some fins. They're just more smooth than most mermaids. And again, I have to make a bunch of subspecies for mermaids because they live all over the place. And you know, obviously tropical fish have many variants, so it totally makes sense. But yeah, so I have like, it's just funny because I'm thinking of like, what a weird, like I just feel like thinking of the gods who did that. Hang on, I gotta...
Oh, hey, this is a perfect question for both of us. I want to know what is a cooler way of creating a vampire race. Like a man bat, humanoid vampire bat, or, and it's, taking its soul and blood, making a potion from, wait. Can you reword that, Toshi? I'm confused. Because I thought you were like, how to like make a cool vampire race, because like, I have monster vampires, and then I have my pretty Hollywood vampires and ticks and turds. I have them.
And then I made vampire puppies.
And then he made vampire puppies. He made vampire puppies.
It's funny because technically in my world, they don't, like, vampires is an insult, and it's not the accurate name, but I just call them vampires because that is what they are supposed to be.
Yeah, because they're not evil. Well, mine aren't even really evil either. They're just people that just, it's one of those, like the whole werewolf fucking culture thing. It's like, they have the woods, we just don't go in the woods, and they don't mess with us, and we're fine.
Yeah. I have, like, because my vampires are literally puppies compared to, like, because I base them very much off real vampire bats. But in the same sense that vampire bats are actually very, very sweet and, like, harmless. And, like, you know, they just, and, like, I even read a thing that said that vampire, like, bats have a really close family bonds with one another.
Yeah!
Like, you know, like, the whole group raises the pups and all that kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, that has to be a thing with mine now. That's so cute.
That's because that's what I did with mine. That's why I was like, the only one that's a little weird is Arxus, but he's got his reason for that. But that's what they all do.
I need to draw Arxus just holding Hope like a puppy.
I mean, right, because he would. He'd be like, I must protect this being. She is special.
It's like a baby.
Which is great because like this sounds so bad. Did I ever describe how like my vampires look like when they're babies? Or vampires?
I think you did. You might have.
Yeah, because they in Marked, not Ticks and Turns, they just birth normal people way. But in Marked, the vampires, the babies eat their way out of the mom because
yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, but they look more bat-like than human. So they have their little hand wings, and then their other little wings are just little nubby hands, and they're like crawling all over the place and eating, and they're just really cute little like bundles of fluff. And so the vampires, they do that where they have like, again, like I was saying, they have the different clans, and they just kind of they have little houses all around, but they raise all of the babies together, so it's not like they don't really go off of like brother and sister and stuff, especially since they can only mate once a year.
Mm-hmm.
For that one day, and then if your shot's gone, you're gone for another year. So it's just like, we're just gonna raise a bunch of babies that like to swarm and lick. Because like, as I see it, the babies don't have they have fangs, but they can't do much with them, so like they have to be fed the bowls of blood. So I always had this really cute idea of like, I mean, in my mind it's cute, it's not really cute, is they bring in a person that they found, they'd kind of cut them open, and let the little babies just go ham, and they would just be very happy.
I love it.
So, how are your little bad people? Your little bad babies?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, I need to say, for me to do this doodle at some point, you need to give me Arxis's ref again.
Here, I have him on Toy House still.
Yeah. Just for whenever I feel the wind. But like, my bat people, I mean, they don't look that different as babies, probably just more like puffballs than they do as adults. Because, they're very small, and they're still very fluffy.
Yeah.
And they like to cling. And also, I need to draw this at some point. It'll be hard, but, I need to, because my bats can, in fact, hang upside down. And they do very often. Just subconsciously, because, they have hand feet, and those hand feet work like hands. Mm-hmm. So, they can, hang upside down, and they can grab things with their feet, and they like to climb a lot, and they're just and they all live together in a little clan together, and they all are a big happy family. And when they feed, they don't actually need to kill anything. In fact, they prefer what they have to not die, because live blood tastes significantly better and is far more filling than dead people blood.
Yeah.
So but they don't kill anyone, and it doesn't hurt at all, because they have their saliva is both a numbing and a disinfectant, so it's all great. But because some people, when you're traveling at night and you see a tiny bat creature running around, jumping through trees, and then you see them drink out of the neck of a deer or something like that, yeah. Some normal people may get a little freaked out, so that it became it started just as a rumor, and then it became there are these terrifying monsters and they're vampires, So mine are extremely misunderstood. But because in reality they're actually very, very sweet, and they're all naturally very docile and friendly, and they even have a whole most clans have a rule that it's even if you're starving, don't take enough to hurt whatever you're drinking from. You only take what you need and what they can handle.
You know what's sad? When you say that, is technically my old vampires, way, way, way before the war, they were kind of like that, where they just kind of did their thing. They had their little communities where they lived in the trees, and then it wasn't the war that happened. It was actually what happens with Samantha that kind of was the catalyst for a lot of that stuff happening. And because of what happens with that, they kind of have to go into hiding. And so I shouldn't say that they feel bad, because they don't. They're just surviving. But it's one of those okay, that's what we have to do. We have to gather people, hang them upside down, drain them, drink their blood, and then chuck the bodies out to the forest, whatever. Because we gotta survive. It's also why they had to keep crossbreeding to look more human. Because Arxis was the one who was like, we can't go around looking like this. Like, people are gonna kill us.
Yeah.
So we gotta find a way to, like, through evolution and crossbreeding, look more human. Just to blend in. But, fun fact, I think I did tell you this. If, like, Carlia and Ina wouldn't count towards, but Ida, if they didn't feed regularly, they would slowly turn into what Arxis looks like.
Spoopy.
But it would take, like, Ida a long-ass time to get there. Like, that would be someone probably torturing her if it got to that point. Which her wifey would not.
Oh, yes.
Would not hesitate.
Her wifey would murder. Anyway.
But yeah, I sent you the Muns and the link.
Woo. I know, I cannot believe I didn't even realize you mentioned me twice. Like,
well, that's what I was waiting for, because you're like, I only have 2 left, and I'm like, oh yay, mine's one of them. And then I was like, oh, he didn't do it yet. I wonder why.
I just didn't realize. Like, you can tell I didn't even start because I didn't make you pay for that because I didn't realize.
Well, that's what I thought was weird, because I remember when you were like, oh yeah, it's only going to be like $20. I'm like, it's that? Really?
Yeah, because
so
it's the price for a flat-colored full body.
Yeah, because I didn't question it. I thought it was just a friend thing, so I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever.
I know, I'm a goof. It was because of that stupid, like, line dividing them, because, like, my brain saw that and registered, oh, that's it.
Yeah, oh,
so
Pyth wants to know if their saliva can be used for medicine, your people.
I mean, probably. That'd probably be a reason they'd be, like, poached, honestly. Like, I mean, if we're gonna be real here.
That's why my vampires hide.
Or another reason why they're enslaved.
That's because why a lot of mine, like, hide, and a lot of people don't know they're even real anymore, is because, like, well, it showed it with Carlia and Ida, their blood has extremely strong healing abilities, and it would be one of those, like, if that got out, they would be poached and hunted and enslaved just for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Morgan's is the world where that happened. Mine isn't. Mine's where they just hid.
Yeah, because mine are so soft and sweet.
Just let them be
they just wanna be friendly. And everyone hates them because they're misunderstood. And Hope is a good girl.
She is an adorable... The sketch you got from Red Panda was so fucking cute.
I've colored it now. I need to shade it, though.
Did you really? I have to see.
Yeah, hang on. I gotta go get it. I haven't shaded it, though. I don't know how to go about shading it, because she looks so fluffy. And it's like... I
love Red Panda's work. Her stuff is amazing.
No, it's so gorgeous. Hang on, I'm getting it. Yeah, I'm trying to make it look like... And she just looks very fluffy.
She's so poof.
It's just all the poof. There it is.
Oh, that looks adorable.
She's so poof. And I noticed in the sketch that she actually, like, kind of did the bit of the shading on the two-toned hair, and I'm like, yay, you know.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was hard at first for me to tell the way you did it, but I'm it's two-toned.
Yeah, and that's why I pointed out in the ref, because it is hard to tell. Because it is very subtle, because I didn't want to make it, like, too drastic.
I love Hope's little tail.
And I discovered this with Pyth, too. When they get excited, their tails wag.
Ah! How dare you do this to me?
Because they're puppies.
They're just little spider puppies. I mean, not fucking spider puppies. Fuck, they're little bat puppies. Tetsu would be the one who would be like, this spider is mine now. I will raise it. I will raise it and it will be mine.
Oh, see, now if we ever do that roleplay, she just has to find a baby spider and, like, have no idea that spiders are, like, monstrous creatures.
That's just it. And she would take it and raise it, and it would be her baby.
Yeah, well, it's also funny because, like, the spiders, too, are, like, they're really, like, instinctively they're independent, you know, like normal spiders.
Yeah.
So, like, it'd be funny because I feel like she'd just see a little lost baby and just feed it not knowing it, and then baby would be like, food, I like you now. You give me food. And, like, just, like, be attached to her, and then, like, Tetsu finds out later that, like, oh, like, they're supposed to eat me. But then, like, Spider's like, no, this is my mother. I don't know what a mother is, but this is mine.
She doesn't eat meat, and neither do I. Okay, not true. I just don't eat her meat.
No, I'm just like, I want to... No, my God, now I want to draw that just purely for crack reasons. Well, just because I'm trying to imagine what a baby spider would look like in my world, and I feel like it'd be still terrifying, but also weirdly cute and charming.
I picture, and this might be me being, like, stupid, but I picture it would be, like, absurdly fucking tiny and just grow really big. Like, it would be...
Honestly, that's probably what it is.
Like,
to be honest.
Like, it would be the size of your palm or something, because if it's a spider, they probably have millions of them out there somewhere. You know?
Right, exactly.
So it'd be like the size
they do not live a long time.
Yeah, so there you go.
And I need to come up with, like, because spiders like bats live all over the world, I'm like, I'm going to need to come up with some subspecies for those too. And I'm like, now I'm coming up with, like, I bet there's some who probably live on cliffs and stuff, so they, like, hunt harpies and shit. Mm-hmm. And then, like, ones that maybe live in the swamp, and then, you know, whatever.
I hate this.
What?
Okay, you know the spider that couldn't hide funny video?
Yeah.
Apparently that's a French spider, and I'm like, no! Because I love that video so much.
It's great. Oh, goodness. I just need to wait, because I just love the fact that my spiders are terrifying. I mean, it's funny, because when I'm setting up that, like, D&D thing, I was like, okay, there are some species that I cannot let them play, because there just are very few realistic ways for that to make sense.
Yeah.
Like, the ones I think that are unplayable is, like, I did say, though, if I did this D&D session, if any character was to die, I was going to permit them to actually continue playing, but as an angel or a demon.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't play normally, but they could still affect the story if they wanted to.
Uh-huh.
You know, because I have those. And it would just basically be whatever your karma is, you know. But, like, anyway, so I was like, spiders would be off limits because just they're so monstrous. It is very, very rare for one of them not to be like, I'm going to kill you and torture you on sight.
Yeah.
And, like, I think the only exception would be, like, this random crack thing with Tetsu finding a baby spider. Then also, like, and then the one in my, like, circus troupe I need to develop more. But, yeah, there's that. And then there was, jellyfish are impossible because they, A, live in the open ocean, and B, they do literally one thing. They do absolutely nothing else.
Yeah, they're jellies.
They're spooky prophet creatures.
Yeah.
And then deep sea mermaids live in the deep ocean, and
yeah,
I don't want to say they can't have human forms like can, but it would be still wouldn't work for what deep sea mermaids are. It coughs. I think there was one other one. What was it? Oh, fairies. I wasn't going to let anyone be a fairy, just because fairies are the NPCs that come help your character. So, like, you know, that's me. Like, you can be a satyr, you can be a druid, but you cannot be a fairy.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. Real quick. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Go use the bathroom. Ugh. Hello, chat.
Keep the chat entertained.
Ask me questions, chat. I'm here. I'm here, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I don't want to say tired, but, you know, I'm like, yeah. I'm just here. Spider monsters, oh god, kill them all with fire. They are terrifying and huge. They're enormous. Yo, Zodiac, I have the species that started as elves, and over the period of developing them over like a year, they're barely recognizable as traditional elves. Do you think I should change their name? I don't think you have to. If you want to call them elves, you can. There's so many mythos for different things, and elves have been interpreted to hell and back, so I don't think there's no rules to how you can make an elf, you know? I think the only thing people would get on you for is if they didn't have pointy ears. Like, you know. Okay, I used to keep pet tarantulas. The females can live up to 40 years. They also wash themselves like a cat. They suck their toes and groove with them. They usually have 2 to 3 legs going at it. I love tarantulas. Tarantulas are the dogs of spiders. Most spiders are demons, but tarantulas are like puppy spiders.
You okay, Binky boy?
One of my fantasy worlds, my vampires are basically banned to hell because they don't just eat blood, but they eat the whole body, flesh, bones, muscles, and so many stars, except the ritual. Yeah. Everyone's asking if I like jazz. I don't know if I like jazz. I just like music that sounds good, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, back.
Hello.
Hello, I have returned with cookies.
Gasps.
Okay, hold on. Anyway, you like jazz? I mean, jazz is okay. I feel bad. I don't know. I'm kind of like, my brain's kind of tapping out here.
I know.
Oh my god, though. We've almost been streaming for like almost 3 hours. It's like 2:30. So, okay. How about we'll do a quick lightning round of questions and then call it a night?
Sure. Okay. I probably have to get offline soon too.
Okay, guys. So if you guys have any, okay. If you guys have any quick, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's one right here. What do you do if your OC looks too similar to other OCs? Like, I have an Object Head comic right now, but I feel like it's not original.
Well, I mean, as long as... Okay, here's the question. If you didn't know the thing existed, and it just happens to be a coincidence, I don't think you should change it. Now, if you saw this person's character and was like, oh, I like that, I want to have my own version of that, then maybe you should change it. Because I've had people
at least a little bit.
I have people be like, oh my god, this looks like a character from so-and-so's comic, and I'm like, I literally have no idea who that is. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad thing, and then I'll look it up, and then, like, sometimes they'll be pretty on point, and other times it'll be, like, so off the mark that I'm just, like, I don't see it. So I think it depends, obviously.
Yeah. It's just, but yeah, you don't, but I will say this, though, too. We're living in a day and age where whatever you make is probably going to look at least a little bit similar to something else.
Exactly.
So don't let it get you. Don't get caught up too much in making something totally original or being scared to do something that like people technically done before.
Yeah, because if you work too hard on making something 100% original and unique, usually they look pretty ugly. I'm sorry to say it, but like. Mm-hmm. I had a friend who would make characters like that, where they wanted to make like a 100% unique character with unique color schemes, and it never looked well.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm gonna say that like I don't always have super original characters. I think Hope is a pretty original character.
Yeah.
Like just because in some way, I'm sure. I mean, I'll be honest here. There's probably a furry out there somewhere who has a similar persona, but
that's what I was saying. There's probably people out there who have done anthroforms of bat people before.
Like yeah, I'm sure. But I still love Hope. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah. Cool.
Could you do a video on different styles? Maybe, but I feel like a lot of other people have done better videos than me on it. So.
Well, I think they were asking, could you do a drawing in different styles art challenge?
Oh, yeah, I'll try that. But I mean, just talking about it, I feel like a lot of other people have done it really well. Like, I know haven't you done one on it? Didn't you?
Hang on, you're cutting out.
Oh,
you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, no, hold on. Okay, any better?
I think so.
Okay. Do commissioning other artists feels like the I want to see my little boy vine? Pretty much, yeah. Do you think when developing Magic Creatures, Worlds, you can just, oh, there's spirits to explain a lot of things and magical creatures, but also have... Okay, so, really quick, I had to be really quick on this. There's this, like, a wizard did it saying, you know, where it's like, when in fantasy worlds, when you can't think of something, oftentimes people will be like, oh, a wizard did it, to, like, kind of one-off excuse it.
Yeah, you know, magic.
But in most cases, if you look at a lot of mythologies, they'll have, like, how the creatures were born, why they were created, if the gods made them, and stuff like that. So, you know, there's something along the lines of just, like, do research, look up other mythologies, see how they got their starts, and then go from there. That's how I do it anyway. What do you think, Morgan?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my fantasy world, that's kind of a lot of it, where it's like, it's the god's fault.
Yeah, it's kind of mine too, is it's just like, I wanted to make that! Boom, I made it, so... Yeah,
or like, you know, although sometimes it is also, because I mean, obviously it's still in development, but like, there's also, you know, people did it. Anyway, yeah, that's how most of my species are all relating. In fact, my species are directly synced up to the gods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Each god has its own species, technically.
But sentient species or just species in general?
Oh, each god has its sentient species.
Yeah.
Although, like, technically just Death and Time are the weird brothers. Anyway. Well, one of them created monsters, and then one of them created a reincarnating spirit. So, you know.
You know, as you do.
They have to be weird, cool, and original.
Do you guys have anything like werewolves in your worlds? In Ticks and Turns, I have very classic werewolves. So, classic horror movie werewolves. In Marked, I have lichen people, which are pretty much furries. Like, they're anthro people. And then I have my actual... They're called moon dancers. Because in my world, there's 2 moons. And so, when the 2 moons are in the sky, dancing together, cough, cough, they end up shedding their human skin and turning into, like, man-wolf people. But they end up losing, like, all of themselves and just become, like, beasts for that one day. And then they go do wolf stuff and then come back and they're pretty much normal people, but, like, they're stronger and faster than, like, normal humans are. So... I don't have a lot on them because they're kind of like the vampires where they're just like, that's a legend, those don't exist. So they're just kind of like, yeah, dude, don't exist. Don't wanna be, you know, in a genocide. So
I don't have any werewolves in any of my stories right now.
Oh yeah, you don't, huh? I
don't. Huh. Surprising. I'm gonna have to come up with something for whenever the other one design happens. But anyway,
right? Is DeviantArt a good place for not safe for work commissions? No! Go to Fur Affinity. Fur Affinity, you don't have to have furries to do stuff on Fur Affinity. Because someone was asking I can't do it on Tumblr anymore. So yeah, if you are doing legal, not safe for work commissions, go to Fur Affinity. That's the only place I know of that's good for that stuff.
Yeah, or Twitter.
Or Twitter, yeah. If you make a not safe for work Twitter, that's like sectioned for that.
It just might be a little hard to get out there, but you know.
Yeah, but yeah, totally, yeah. Not safe for work Twitter or not safe for work for Affinity.
I mean, I don't think that DeviantArt isn't necessarily bad, but you'd have to be prepared to get some like people come in for some specific interests.
Some rather I don't want to kink shame, but to me it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, just some weird things,
stuff,
you know.
But yeah, I think we'll end it there.
Oh, wait,
what? Okay. Oh shit!
I colored Ken's sketch of the monster. Oh, you saw it on Patreon, right?
Yeah. Did you post it publicly yet?
Sure. No, not yet. I have so many stuff scheduled already.
Oh yeah, because you got to schedule the soft boys too. If you did that.
Oh no, I have it scheduled. It's just after all my commissions are posted.
All right. So I'll end it here then, guys. I love you all. Thank you for coming. I will be streaming tomorrow with my patrons. So I will see you guys sometime tomorrow. Bye, smatches.
Smatches.